Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Birthday,
birthday to
dear
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday.
you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And many more.
We'll
Thank you, Nora.
What?
Oh, Madam Mayor, I also want to mention that September 17th, the day after Mexican Independence Day, it's also U.S. Constitution Day. It's the birth of the United States Constitution, September 17th. And of course, it's also, as Dr. Clea Bradshaw outlined the other day, a new celebration of Voter Registration Day nationally. All the same day, September 17th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to my colleagues, we have a new system here. So when you want to speak, tap your button and we'll recognize you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And I'll call your numbers and you'll have a number assigned to your name. So we're going to recess to closed session. We should be back about 6 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. We're reconvening to open session. Madam City Attorney, report out on closed session, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The council did not consider items number 2 and 3. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D2 or D3 and E1 because there is a significant exposure to litigation in 2 cases. No reportable action was taken in those cases. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll have report from our acting captain. Come on down, Lieutenant.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. Today I have quite a short report. Starting on September 4th, I met with community organizers to calm some fears that they had related to a recent shooting that we had in the city. September 7th, I attended the Cajun and Blues function, which I had a very nice time. It was a great event. September 10th, I attended a meeting with the Los Angeles County officials, CHP, Public Works, regarding ongoing issues throughout the county related to street racing and takeovers. There's going to be several continuing meetings on how we're going to address the illegal street takeovers. September 11th, the Community Relations Office and I, including Deputy Cisneros, I attended the Heroes Day event here at the Carson Community Center. September 12th, I attended a meeting with the Centinela Youth Services, and they are a service that we use as a diversion to our troubled youth. So instead of arresting our juveniles and putting them through the system, we've switched to, if the situation's appropriate, to a diversionary process. And then on September 13th, the special assignment team and I attended the Country Western Fair at Dominguez Park and also had a very, very good time. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, if you'd like to ask the captain a question. Councilman Hicks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To Captain Aiello, acting, I want to say thank you for all the work that your young men and women do for the city of Carson. I do have some concerns, and these are coming from my residents. First, there's been a rash of individuals knocking on doors asking to test their waters, and they want to come into the homes to test waters. And I'm trying to tell my seniors and individuals, you don't have to allow anyone in your home. Your home is your home. And if they want to test the waters, if you have a water hose in front of the house, you can test the water outside. So it's just a lot of them are being afraid, and some have let them in, but I just wanted to get that warning out there. And then there's a second incident where they're 3 or 4 young men that are walking around knocking on doors asking for water as if they are very hot and they need water. And I found out that they were trying to do home invasions on individuals because luckily when they came to my home, I had Ring. They asked about some waters, and I told them, why are you asking for water and you got water in your backpack? so these are the two things that are going. I just want to bring it to your attention and let the residents know that we are on top of it.
Got it. All right. So based on that, obviously, based off of what you said, it sounds like we've got some bad actors going around because the water department does not knock on your door to test your water. They know how the water is from the wells where the water comes into the city. So they don't need to test the water at your house. As far as the knocking on the door to ask for water, I would say the same thing. They're scoping out the house to see if somebody is there. That being said, we're going to put this information on social media so the residents are aware. Anybody watching on YouTube, everybody here in the audience, please don't answer the door. If this type of scenario does happen at your house, immediately call us, and we will dispatch a deputy to go look for them, and we can verify to see if they are actual water department employees or people scoping out for an easy victim.
Thank you. And Captain, it's also because they knocked on my door. Told me they wanted to check my alarm system.
The burglar wants to check it.
Once my husband met them at the front door, they didn't want to check anymore. So, but it was at like 8:45 at night.
Okay.
Okay, but they didn't know him or me, but it happened at night at my door.
We'll add that to the list.
Okay. Next, we have President.
Oh, yeah, Q.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Lieutenant, I want to extend to you some feedback I got from the community about the terrible tragedy where 2 individuals shot one another. Both were fatalities. And I attended the fundraiser for the family of Mr. Mata, Richard Mata. And they wanted to express, well, they did express to me how your deputies have really done a very good job to make sure that there are no auxiliary repercussions, no retaliation taking place so far, and we pray there won't be any. But they were very complimentary of your deputies, so you want to pass it on to the gang detail and any other deputies that you've assigned to intervene in the community. It's much appreciated.
Great. I will pass that on. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Along the same line, I want to commend June because I know she met with you because this was not gang on gang. So thank you for reaching out to her and also some other members in the community. Very appreciative of your extra efforts. Dr. Hilton.
Yes, I wanted to see if there was an update on the lady who was hit on Delamo and Tillman. If there was an update, we have residents reaching out to us to see if there has been an update of the people who fled off have been apprehended.
So it's still an active investigation. We do have some video. We are trying to, our detectives are trying to match up the video that we have of who we believe is the hit and run vehicle and match it to the incident. But if anybody else has any video or information or witnessed it, we are welcoming of any extra information because that will help.
Okay, there's 2 more things. I also want to commend you all on the AR-15 that was floating around social media, and that was saying that they were going to one particular school. Today, it was posted yesterday. They were going to the school today. I want to commend you all for your quick reaction, knowing that it was taken care of last night as soon as it hit the internet, knowing that my children went to school in a level of comfort when my daughter came and said, "Dad, is it safe to go to school?" And I knew it was taken care of. So I want to commend you all for your quick response and being able to let parents know that we had already taken care of it. And I know also there was an incident, as all of my colleagues talked about, of these people knocking on doors. There was an incident in Galaxy West last week in District 1 of someone knocking on a door, and they didn't get the response that they wanted. I don't know if you're at liberty to say that. I know that the gentleman on the opposite side of the door told him to leave his house, and that person who kept knocking on the door, who was trying to intrude in his house, didn't make it off his front porch. So to those people who may be watching, listening, next time you might knock on somebody's door, you might not make it from their front door.
Right.
I don't know.
I can say that that was a father and stepson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Family.
All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah. I can say that they are related.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
As far as I'm aware, the stepson does not live there.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was a burglary or what.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? I don't see anyone queued up, so we will go on to item number 6, presentations. I'll ask my colleagues to join me at the podium. Three. Thank you. We're letting our environmental commission get all situated here. This week, we're recognizing National Drive Electric Week. It's a time to learn about the benefits of electric vehicles and how they can help reduce pollution and save money. Save money. By driving electric vehicles, we can help clean the air in Carson and make our city a healthier place to live. Every step towards using cleaner energy is a step towards a better future. Carson is committed to supporting sustainable and green solutions for our community. Electric vehicles are a key part of this effort, and we encourage everyone to explore how they can be a part of this solution. So we have a proclamation tonight, and I just want to thank this. You guys come over here, some of you. Come on over here. Let's spread out. And I want to thank our staff, Rita, for running lead on this. She's just done an outstanding job. I'm going to ask my Mayor Pro Tem to read the proclamation.
A proclamation recognizing September 27th through October 6th as National Drive Electric Week. Whereas the transportation sector is responsible for nearly 30% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions and is a contributing factor to air pollution and climate change, threatening the health of our citizens and the sustainability of our planet. Whereas the state of California has outlined at least 4 action items in 2021 climate adoption strategy that directly aim to pave the way for carbon neutrality and climate resilience through the proposal that offset past and prevent future carbon emissions in the atmosphere. And whereas the city of Carson is committed to being a leader in the use of clean transportation, including electrifying its fleet, installing electric vehicles, charging stations, and initiating projects, policies, and programs to promote clean transportation. Whereas the week of September 27th through October 6th has been designated National Drive Electric Week as a nationwide celebration to educate our citizens about electric vehicles, environmental, economic, and health benefits, and promote their adoption. And whereas to support the growing adoption of electric vehicles and promote sustainable transportation, the city of Carson proposes the installation of over 150 electric vehicle charging ports at city-owned sites. Let me repeat that. Over 150 electric vehicle charging ports at city-owned sites. That deserves a hand. Whereas National Drive Electric Week reaffirms our responsibility in the global effort to combat climate change by raising awareness of the many benefits of all electric and plug-in hybrid cars, trucks, motorcycles, and more. Now, therefore, the mayor and the city council of Carson, California, do hereby proclaim September 27th through October 6th, 2024 as Drive Electric Week in the city of Carson, California, and call upon all the residents of this great city to join us in committing to positive change by supporting the aims and the goals of the worldwide effort. Dated this third day of September, dated this day, the 17th of September, 2024. All right, it said the third on there.
Thank you. Rita, would you like to have a few words?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, City Council. I'll just say the City of Carson has been celebrating Drive Electric Week since 2017. I looked back just to make sure, and it's 7 years ago that we've been doing something to celebrate Drive Electric Week. And this year we have this proclamation along with some additional things that we'll be doing later today with some presentations. So I just want to say thank you, and I'll give it to the Chair of the Environmental Commission to say a few words.
Thank you, Rita. Good evening, everyone, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Huey Taylor, and I'm the Chair of the Carson Environmental Commission. I'm also accompanied by some other, our Vice Chairman, Lillian Hobson, Mr. Coombs, and hello there, and my friend, Mr. Watkins in the rear. Thank you. I just, excuse me. One of the things we did as an Environmental Commission, we select out of 100 projects or potential projects, we picked 4 this year in terms of trying to work with and identify something to celebrate in the city of Carson. That was Earth Day, Zero Emissions Day, Drive Electric, and Beautification. The one we're going to honoring now is Zero Emissions Day. And if I may, just bear with me, I'd like to read something. I'm sorry. Oh, that'll be later. But thank you very much. And I think Carson City Council has done a wonderful job in bringing us to the positions we are now with our Drive Electric and our charging stations. We did a fantastic job. First in the South Bay to do something of that magnitude. So if you do have electric vehicle, I hope you do, please avail yourselves to both our charging stations, the Tesla stations and the charge points. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay right here. Turn around. If you don't know, we dedicated 20 super charging Tesla charging stations a couple of days ago. D4, that means you do not have to own a Tesla to get your vehicle charged. If you have an electric vehicle, go there. There's an adapter already there. We want to make sure that all of our residents have an opportunity to charge their stations right at the community center on the side of the DoubleTree. So if you have an electric vehicle, we're here to support all of your electric charging needs, and we will be installing, I think it's 120 120, 130 more at all of our parks and areas throughout the city. We're committed to making sure that our city is greener, cleaner, and we're really honored because Tesla chose Carson. We're the first city in the South Bay to have this supercharger V4, and that is awesome news, awesome. So we'll take a photo. Thank you, thank you. The next is item number 7. You can hold that one. Tonight we want to express, let's see, it's our deepest gratitude. You may have heard about it when some young people tried to take over our mall at the South Bay Shopping Center. They came in, tweeted out. But tonight we want to express our deepest gratitude to officers from the Gardena PD, Hermosa Beach PD, Culver City PD, and our own Carson Sheriff Station. Their quick response during the July 16th incident at the South Bay Pavilion was critical in restoring safety and order. Our neighboring police, come on down, guys. We got all. Let's stand back. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hermosa Beach, Culver City, Gardena PD, some on the left. I mean, they were able to apprehend, I believe, 70 young people at that event, what they called an event. And only 3, I think, of those kids were from Carson. They came from everywhere. They came from everywhere to cause problems in our city. But our captain, our acting captain, he didn't wait. When he got the call, he responded immediately, and which helped us to prevent something that you had seen in other malls. So he was proactive. He heard about it. He stepped to the plate. Our neighboring departments came out with no hesitation to assist us. And we want to honor these, we want to present them with letters of accommodation just to show how much we appreciated everything that they did for us that day. It was just an awesome, awesome support from all of our supporting agencies. So let's give a round of applause. Captain, I'm going to give you the honors. This is our acting captain.
I wrote a few notes. Madam Mayor, you did a fine job explaining what happened. But just to explain from the Carson Sheriff Station point of view as the unit commander for Carson Station, I'll let you know kind of like my point of view on it. But on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, we received information about a fight between 2 individuals that would have been live streamed on social media. It was to occur at our South Bay Pavilion Mall on Saturday, July 6, 2024 at 2 p.m. To prevent this fight, we assisted mall security by adding 1 sergeant, 9 deputies, and 2 city code enforcement officers to prevent the juveniles from becoming injured and to provide regular mall patrons with a peaceful shopping experience. Surrounding sheriff's patrol stations were also notified of the possible fight in anticipation of a large crowd and the need for their assistance. I'd like to note the South Bay Pavilion management enacted a policy that no unaccompanied minors would be allowed inside the mall after 2 p.m. On that Saturday, Carson Station deputies were summoned by mall security staff. Mall security wanted a group of approximately 10 unaccompanied juveniles kicked out for causing a disturbance inside the mall. The deputies ordered the group to leave the mall. Most of the group complied except for 1 juvenile. This 1 juvenile made repeated attempts to re-enter the mall after being ordered to leave multiple times by mall security. He was eventually detained and issued a citation for trespassing. The rest of the group had dispersed from the mall, and they were no longer seen. At 5:20 p.m., Carson Station received information from the mall of a group of juveniles lighting illegal fireworks and attempting to light a trash dumpster on fire. Carson deputies responded to the scene. An initial report said that there were 60 to 70 juveniles. By 5:45 p.m., that number grew to over 200. The juveniles were uncooperative with deputies and refused to follow our lawful orders to disperse. So deputies requested assistance from our surrounding sheriff stations. Based on the large number of juveniles and the chaotic situation the juveniles created, South Bay Pavilion Management ordered the mall closed for the safety of the businesses and the public in and around the area. Sorry, I like to write. Anyway, on behalf of the Carson Sheriff Station, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, I'd like to thank everyone here, all the police officers and law enforcement that responded. Without them, none of the juveniles or the deputies or officers were injured. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. And as the unit commander for Carson Station, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Okay. To my colleagues, I really want to take a picture of the sheriff, so could you kind of move back, because I'm going to call up Gardena PD. I want them up front and center. Gardena PD, come on down. Can we take 2 steps back? They're going to be in the front row. Thank you guys so much. This is all about you and what you did for our city. Let's do a photo shot. So much. Next, we're going to have Hermosa Beach PD. Right here. There we go. The beach.
He said the best of the
Thank you.
He's tall. He's supposed to play
He's like
basketball.
average height. He's like average height.
He's supposed to play basketball.
All the way from Culver City. Come on down. Right here. Around the corner.
Just right down the street.
Okay. Okay, we keep moving up forward. What's going on? What's going on? She has a wide lens. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. She has a wide lens here. And last but not least is our Carson Sheriff Station. How far you guys at? I've already called you. Come on over here. This is a little quarterback here. This is my quarterback. Let's go. Do we need to move back? Sure, let's do it. Come on up front. We got enough pictures. Come on, sweetie.
Yeah, or no, maybe she can come right here, that's the bridge.
Then you come up.
Find your window.
And then you, sir, over here, just stretch your head out. Yep, there it is, beautiful, right here. Thank you so much.
Let's give them another round of applause. And thank you, thank you, thank you. What do I have next? Is this our last one? Thank you. All of these are number 8, Maisha? All of these are for number 8? Okay. Elizabeth Morgan, are you here? Hi there. Elizabeth Morgan is the founder of Empathy Recruiter, a woman's minority-owned firm that specializes in people first, recruiting and connecting top talent with the right opportunities. Their inclusive approach ensures your workforce is diverse, dynamic, and built for success. The EM is in empathy, stands for empowerment, and PATH signifies the path to fulfilling career for every individual. The core philosophy of Empathy Recruiter revolves around putting people first. Empathy Recruiter recently celebrated its 3rd anniversary with a special essay contest called the Empathy and Compassion in Our Community Contest. This contest was held on September 6th, and tonight we honor the winners of this contest. Elizabeth, will you give us a few words about your essay contest?
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting us and allowing us to share this milestone. This essay contest, we received over 60 applicants, and they are all Carson residents from K through 12. We had 5 judges from top executives across the country, from Fortune 500 companies, and let me tell you, they make hard decisions, and this was definitely a hard decision for them. I'd like to share a quote from one of the judges, if that's okay.
Please.
Perfect. And this is from Peter Brooks, VP of Talent Acquisition at General Dynamics. What a tough assignment, and gosh, was it hard to narrow down to one. So much good writing, and I hope you'll thank all of the students for restoring my faith in humanity. I thought that was extremely powerful. And I also want to thank a very special teacher. She's actually here with us. Her name is Mrs. Cheryl Carter Harris. Mrs. Harris, can you please stand up? Please stand up. So Mrs. Harris is the media magnet coordinator at Carson High School. She challenged her students. She actually made this essay contest as a mandatory. And I just want to praise you and honor you for challenging your students to be part of this contest. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the certificates read the same. Pass one to Councilman Deere. He'll call up one. Read them for us. They all say the same thing.
All right. It's like a game show. Come on down. Chase Berry, come on down. Gabriela Perez. All right. Do you want to do one at a time? Gabriela Perez.
Congratulations, Gabriela. Hold on, get it. Somebody back there. Come on. Come get it. Got it? Got it? Oh, okay. Are you ready?
Okay, Jennifer Rubato. Thank you, Jennifer.
We see you all the time, Jennifer. Becoming a regular. Jennifer's becoming a regular.
All right. Next up, Madeline Joy Agate. Congratulations. Okay, next winner, Pauline Dennis. Okay, we're good? Okay, next one, Ronald Fernandez. Ronald? Okay. Trinity Pratt. All right. Okay, next one, Zoe Grace Palayo. Special for Zoe. Okay, and our final winner is Michael Aganiga. Aguaniga. Congratulations.
Noah Avery. Oh, no, here's Noah Avery.
Noah Avery Morgan. All right. We've got Ronald Fernandez.
Here.
Thank you. So we do have your cash prizes and your swags for all the winners. And again, you know, this essay was not just about writing. It was about engaging our youth and, you know, having them really dig deep into what empathy and compassion is all about in our lives and how these, you know, empathy and compassion are just key to a stronger community and key to stronger connections with each other. So thank you again.
No, thank you. Thank you. Is that it? That's it, Maisha? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, and congratulations to all the winners. Photo? Yeah, photo.
No matching.
Matching, girl. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
They got something. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.
I have a message from Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Carpenter?
He's our neighbor. He said to let you know we have your
Sign.
signs on our lawn.
Now I got all these votes. I got all these. The sign don't vote.
Let him know. He just told me today.
Okay, thank you. What's this?
These are the rest of the notes that are
For the
items
ones.
that are
Okay.
The whole clan is here.
Georgia Brown.
Looks like your friends are here. Why don't we sing another happy birthday?
Okay, okay, that's
Look,
cute.
so they will be.
The chair of the environmental commission.
You should do that.
Madam Mayor? Yes. At the end of all presentations, Councilman Hicks has a video for prostate cancer. Is that okay? No, after your presentations are done? No, Rita has one, I think. Zero emission, wait. She said the environmental commission's doing something right now. Is it the last one? I don't have my.
I have Metro discussed.
Metro what?
Presentation about zero emissions.
That's what it is. Zero emissions is right now.
Recognize them before.
Then Metro's after that.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I got it.
9 and 10, I have.
Okay, so after 10 is
Thank you.
okay.
This is
Yes.
Video then? Oh wait, well then there's 11 with city clerk, and then there's 12. There's presentation on new council chambers audio system, and then 13 is update on electric vehicle charging stations. Huh?
After 13.
After 13. So after, do you want to just at the very end? After 13? Is that good?
Okay. Okay.
Cedric Hicks. Where is MPT?
In the back.
All right, now we'll have a presentation number 9, zero emissions. Miss Rita.
Madam Mayor, this presentation is going to be a brief presentation on Zero Emissions Day by the Environmental Commission's chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor and council members, I have just a short presentation about a little background on Zero Emissions Day. September is a very important month, and September 21st is Zero Emissions Day. If I may read, our modern lives depend heavily on technologies, industries, and practices fueled by fossil energy. The emissions from burning these fuels, mainly greenhouse gases, are causing significant environmental harm, leading to issues like smog, poor air quality, and climate change. These emissions pose serious threats not only to the environment, but also to human health. In 2008, activist Ken Wallace initiated Zero Emissions Day on Z Day in Nova Scotia, Canada. This day aims to give the Earth a break by minimizing greenhouse gas emissions. Major sources of these emissions include electricity and heat usage in homes and businesses, and gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles. While it may seem challenging to go without electricity in cars for a day, reducing our usage can even briefly can have significant long-term effects. The statewide goal is to achieve carbon neutrality by the year 2045 or earlier. Achieving emission target starts and individual actions, each small step contribute to a larger impact. Join the Environmental Commission in celebrating Zero Emissions Day on September 21st, 2024, by making a commitment to reduce your emissions for a day. This day reaffirms our global responsibility to combat climate change and promotes the use of clean energy in our homes and businesses. The City of Carson continues to take steps to demonstrate the leadership in clean energy technology and sustainability, establishing policies and programs to limit or offset harmful emissions. Lastly, let us all take this opportunity to envision and work towards a future without pollution. Together, we can make a difference one step at a time. If I may, I'd still like to acknowledge our commissioners, environmental commissioners, Lillian Hobson, Vice Chair, Freeman Watkins, Member, Roy Love, Member, William Coons, Member, and Christina Tresvant. Also, I must say that we have an outstanding support staff led by Ms. Rita Colzar, our Innovation Sustainability Manager, Jessica Correa, the Division Secretary, Kristen Smith, Field Representative, and finally Isaac Young, our Deputy City Attorney. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. To our staff, all you staff listening to me, that's staff commissions. That's what all of our commissions should be doing. This environmental commission is engaged, okay? And we have so many projects in the city right now that our public works commission should be coming talking about all, where's my public works director? It should be coming before the city council saying, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're working on. And these are the kind of presentations that we're looking for. If you staff a commission, I would love to see our chair and our commissioners to come and do a presentation because they're the eyes and ears and we rely on them to give us direction and suggestions. We have a beautification committee, women's issues commission. We have more commissions in the South Bay than anyone does. So, you know, just take a few minutes and give them that little training. Let them look at this video. But the chair, I want to commend you guys for coming out tonight. Madam Vice Chair, thank you so much. Oh, you do? Oh, well. Come to the mic. Come to the mic.
I have with me a brochure that lists all of the EVs.
Speaking to the mic, Madam Vice Chair.
Can you hear me now? I have with me a brochure that lists the EVs that are available now, and I'd like to pass one out to each one here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next item is item number 10, is a presentation from Metro to discuss the 105 auxiliary lanes. Mr. City Manager. Well, Mr. Assistant City Manager. Robert. Oh, Jesus. I forgive you. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 12.
No, it's item 10. From presentation item from Metro to discuss.
Presentation from Metro, or if they're ready, we'll have them go ahead and provide a brief update on the auxiliary lanes for 405 and how that could potentially impact Carson.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. My name is Andy Siwak. I'm with Local Government Relations with Metro. I am the South Bay Area Manager, so I am your liaison to Metro for any questions about programs or projects that you may have. I'm excited tonight. We are going to be giving a presentation about the 405 auxiliary lanes potential project. I'm going to be introducing our project team who will be making the presentation. I'm joined by Robert Machuca, who is our Deputy Executive Officer, and Michael Hines, who is a consultant to the project. So with that, we're excited to share the project.
Thank you. Let me, yes.
Was the presentation That's this one, yeah, that's it, yeah.
So,
Okay.
you guys have the clicker. Okay. Full screen in a second. Going back and help us get a laser. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Do you want to introduce yourself, Michael?
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Hines from HDR, the consultant to the project. So any questions you have, I know Robert will be providing the presentation, and any technical questions, I can answer those.
Once again, my name is Robert Machuca, the project manager for the 405 projects. Thank you all for the invitation and hearing us out on the project. We're venturing out and really trying to get the public engaged in the process for this environmental review for this project. So really want to encourage, we have a couple of meetings coming up, and really want to encourage folks to come out and voice their opinions, their thoughts, and sentiments about the project, and making it sure that we're being inclusive of the public. Just to talk a little bit about the project partners that we've got on the project. There are oftentimes a lot of questions with regards to like why Metro is involved in highway projects. But this is a real big collaboration that we've got going on with the various entities here. We are working very closely with Caltrans, who's technically the legally required entity leading the CEQA and NEPA process. This is for the environmental process. But we've also been working with the South Bay City's Council of Governments. And as a matter of fact, this is their opportunity to really showcase what their priorities are being put forth with. They've actually identified funding for this project, which is funding the environmental clearance process with the project itself, in addition with the city staff here at City of Carson. Just to talk about a little bit about the project need and goals of the project. First of all, I really want to emphasize this project's really about improving safety along not only the corridor, but also within arterials that are adjacent to the City of Carson and the 405 freeway. We want to look at being able to see how we can improve some of the safety measures, since we are experiencing some of the collisions that are higher than statewide averages on this segment of the 405. And then we are also looking at the lack of connectivity that pedestrians and cyclists have around the corridor. So really want to look at those elements and being seen how we can improve upon that. With regards to the goals, once again, we really want to focus on the safety element and the reliability along the 405, but also providing equitable and accessible and sustainable elements that we can integrate as part of the project. We also understand the City of Carson's economic connectivity is really important, and making sure that that continues to be accessible, not only through the construction phase if this project gets to that point, but also ensuring that that's an integral part of our project. Just to provide a quick overview of the project itself, it does stretch approximately 3 miles in length from on the 405 between Main Street all the way to Wilmington. We do have identified 3 alternatives for the project itself. One that I'll talk a little bit more about in later slides. But I really want to make sure that we get this message very clear and through with the community, that there are no private properties being looked at to being acquired as part of this project. So there's one of our major priorities on the project, not to disrupt not only private residents, but also the commercial industry that's out in the City of Carson. We might look, we're looking at reducing the temporary construction easements and being able to see how we can reduce that, but there might be some potential for that. But at least with permanent acquisitions of property, that's going to be a priority that we have 0 on this project. As mentioned, we do have 3 alternatives for the project. The one that first is the no build, and this is just part of the legally required element of being able to compare it to if we were to do nothing along this stretch of the corridor. The second alternative is really what we're calling auxiliary lanes. I'll go a little bit more into details what auxiliary lanes are, but this is a stretch of 4 different auxiliary lanes that we're proposing along the corridor, and being able to really improve upon that safety and operational systems along the 405. And of course, it's going to also be incorporating elements of complete streets, looking at the off and on ramps and how pedestrians, cyclists, and all folks that are moving around are traversing safely and encouraging that type of mobility.
And with regards to alternative 3, these are also what we call TSM, TDM. These are transportation system management and transportation demand management improvements that we're going to be proposing. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's just a list of different technological advances that we can apply to the corridor itself in order to optimize the system. And of course, alternative 3 does also include complete streets elements as part of the project. So this is just a quick little rendering, what you'll see on the right-hand side of the lanes. If anybody's been familiar with getting in and out of the freeway, that little space that you have the ability to move onto the merge onto the lane, that's supposed to be an auxiliary lane. There's supposed to be enough sufficient amount of space so that when you're trying to merge in, you're not trying to have to fight someone to get into it. And that's where a lot of the collisions are happening at. So this is what the project is trying to improve upon. But for the alternative 1, we have this no build, and this is where we're looking at not doing anything and just proceeding forth with what is already out there. The auxiliary lanes that are being proposed out there, we have 2 on the northbound and 2 on the southbound of the project itself. You'll see that they're all within the kind of the Wilmington and aviation section, but those are the areas that we really want to improve upon, since those are the highest rated areas for collisions along this stretch of the corridor. And of course, as mentioned with alternatives 2 and 3, we do have complete streets elements. And this is a plethora of different elements that we can incorporate as part of the project, including improving upon ADA compliant sidewalks and ramps, including sidewalks where there are none right now, lighting, signage, really providing that ability for pedestrians and cyclists to utilize the system comfortably and safely. The regional multimodality benefits as well. We're very understanding that the city's been very much involved and invested in developing its active transportation mode within the city. We are aware of the bicycle master plan that the city has developed, and we're really working with city staff and being able to incorporate various areas that we can maybe synergize with, and seeing how we can develop further projects that the city's already starting to work on, and making this part of the project to incorporate in the development of this project. With regards to the TSM, TDM strategies, as mentioned, these are just a range of different incentives or improvements that we can make to the system itself to optimize the system. So this is inclusive of closed captioning television circuits, systems, CCTV, in order to look at how traffic is moving, but also synchronizing signals along the corridor to prioritize pedestrians, cyclists, and buses along the corridor. But these are various incentives that we're looking at and being able to see how we can incorporate as part of the project to really have that multimodality element into the project. So with regards to the outreach efforts, I was able to provide an update to the South Bay City's COG on August 22nd. We have been meeting also with city staff and trying to get input on various components of the project. We did have an in-person meeting, not only with city staff, but also with CHP to get their input as well with regards to the development of the project here at the city. So it was really nice to get that in place. We are also very uniquely, what we've been able to accomplish with this project is being able to have a supplemental outreach contract with a team that can really make sure that we're really going out to the public and really getting that engagement. And one of these unique partnerships that we've developed is the relationships with this community-based organizations, 2 specifically, the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, and then another organization here within the city of Carson called Fearless Artistic Charisma and Elegance. So we partnered up with both of them, and they really are assisting us to provide feedback on the project, but also getting the word out about getting that opinion from the public on the project itself. To date, we've been sending out multiple mailers out to the public, making sure that we are trying to engage the folks and letting people know about this project. We have had legal ads advertised on 3 newspapers, the Daily Breeze, La Opinion, and Asian Journal. And we're also have different series of different collateral information along our websites and social media and really getting the public out. We are translating our collateral information into English, Spanish, and Tagalog to make sure that we can be receptive as possible to the public's population. So the public scoping meeting, this is where we're at right now. And this is the formal and legal process of being able to be receptive to the comments that are being submitted for the project. So what's gonna happen is every of those comments, they're gonna be recorded and they're gonna be addressed in the draft environmental document itself. And then with regards to the schedule, so these studies do take quite a while to make sure that we're getting the feedback from the community, but also to do the technical analysis to making sure that we're proceeding forward with the right information. So right now we're going through this public scoping period. It'll be ending at the beginning of October. And then from there on, we'll look at all the comments that we received during this scoping period, and then also start conducting the various technical studies and analysis. We are looking at somewhere around the winter timeframe, early part of 2026, to have a draft environmental document that we could also share again with the public and get the feedback at that point, also discuss or also referred to as the public hearing process. At that point, you'll be able to see everybody's comments and how we address them in the draft environmental document, and then moving forward towards the final. After final, then we can have a more determined and well-defined project that we can carry on to the design phase of the project itself. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to open up the floor to my colleagues for questions. Councilman Hicks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for that report and letting the city know what you were proposing to do. I do have some concerns. I'm the past chair of the South Bay COG, and there's been talk about this project, but you didn't come before the COG until August the 22nd, and that no one knew anything about an upcoming community meeting. I think that if we wanted to get the community involved, we need to be proactive in making sure we get information to our residents in a better process. By today being Tuesday, and I think your community meeting is this coming Thursday, it's really a hard process to try to get that to all of our residents who are being impacted by that area. And part of your project is actually in District 3, which is my district, and I know I've talked to my residents and none of them knew anything about that. If you know the history, we just finished a Wilmington freeway exchange on the 405 freeway, that was very extensive, and it took up a long period of time, and it actually bothered and hampered my residents' quality of life because of that, and I knew it was a needed project. I'm just concerned by my residents that no one is giving them clear information on what is taking place on that, I call it the 405 exchange or the South Bay Bend or whatever you want to call it. But you guys are here giving information. I actually talked to my city manager on last Thursday, and he had no idea a lot of the things that we received at the last minute after we received an email from the South Bay COG. My concern, and I know my colleagues have other questions, this is a question that came before me, I think a second option. If there's not enough input or push for the option 2, Metro is actually going to just kill the entire project or just go with the option number 1 to do nothing because you don't have the community input. Is that correct or not correct? That's the first question.
Yes, if I may answer. So that's exactly what we're looking for that input and seeing what is preferred by the public, and then evaluating that comment and feedback and being able to do our analysis. But yes, all 3 alternatives are on the table right now for feedback and input.
But if you don't get the feedback, then you go with option number 1 because the residents were not giving enough ample time to mobilize themselves so they could be there to give an informed decision on what they would like to see within that South Bay curve. That's what I called it. I'm just real concerned, in addition to your outreach work, the date of the completion of the meeting, it's just a lot. And I know I talked to my city manager, and there's nothing in there about a beautification of our ramps. I've been talking with our public works director on how our ramps are here in the city of Carson, what type of greenery is going to be used, how is it going to be maintained. I haven't seen any of that as part of this project for the beautification of our city. So I'm just concerned about that entire process. So I don't know, city manager, what can we do in regards to, I know the meeting is on Thursday. I know you put out email. I think you try to blast it as much as you possibly can. I've gotten some calls, but most of the residents are not available at that time of day. It's just that if they had known in advance as opposed to the last minute, it does not work for our residents. So is there a way to have this meeting pushed back? I saw your timeline that you guys are going to be finished by October the 1st. That's in a couple of weeks. So how are we going to get this information out in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, just want to make a couple clarifications. October 10th will be the last day of our public scoping period. But we have been actively involved with disseminating the information, getting the public out. So it's not like a last minute kind of a deal.
With the city?
Yes, and then so we've had legal ads on newspapers. We're working with the community-based organizations to really get the word out and really trying to get that in. That's what we're here to really get that word out and ask for your help and being able to get that developed out there. But yes, we really want to encourage the folks to come in. As mentioned, this is early in the process of the environmental process. So this is the type of input that I want to hear and being able to incorporate as part of the project. If there are concerns with regards to ramps or beautification, that's exactly what we want to make sure that we're documenting as part of the feedback for the project.
Who did you speak to in regards to your outreach? You said you spoke to someone within the city?
Within the city, we have.
I mean, as far as City Hall, not just the city as a whole, but City Hall.
Correct. I believe there's some folks within the various departments that we've been talking about having these meetings scheduled.
Mr. City Manager, are you privy to any of this?
So again, I think that was a great question, council member. This was the first that I had heard about this situation as far as the initial presentation for tonight, Thursday's presentation, which is scheduled. Again, we sent our PIO to give information to have this information disseminated to the residents. Outside of that, we haven't gotten any information or indication of when these meetings were going to be taking place. We'd be happy to help, and we want to help to get that information out. My office has not been contacted as to what has been happening with the town halls or the meetings that you all have proposed. The meetings were scheduled, and there was a meeting that was provided, I think, back in August that we were a part of, and that was part of the COG meeting. But outside of that, there hadn't been any mention to our office as to when these specific town halls were going to be noticed, and we could have easily got that information out to our residents. So now we're scrambling to do that, so that way we have as much participation as we can. But my office has not been contacted.
My concern is we're being reactive and not proactive, and I'm not a person that wants to be reactive. I need to know what's happening before it happens so they can get the information out to who it needs to get to. And I think that you said that you had a meeting with the COG on August the 22nd, and that was the only meeting you guys had on this project was August the 20th, and that was based upon the transportation meeting that's on Mondays. I think the second Monday is around about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Didn't hear anything about that one. So I'm just concerned that I know probably is a need, but I just think the way in the process that it was handled was not done in the best way to get the information to the residents so they can be informed and make good decisions on what's going to transpire within their neighborhood. And I'm glad you did make a statement that it's not going to impact any commercial or residential housing along that corridor area, but it will be some impacting at some point in time based upon lighting and other things. If you're working at night or in the daytime, our roads are going to be impacted if there are going to be any detours or any closures. So that means our roadways that's connecting to the 405 freeway is going to have heavier traffic in those areas. So there's going to be some mitigation process that's going to take place within the residents. So it's not to say it's going to be zero. It's going to be something. I'm complete, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I think you expressed my concerns also. It's a 3-mile stretch. If our city manager, our public works director, you don't know anything about this either. Not yet. Not yet. So I would like to know, for me, what city staff did you meet with? And you also mentioned that you met with some non-community-based organization. He's a councilman. He's on the COG, so who? And you just said, oh, some staff, but nobody knows. We like to be involved in the loop because you're affecting us. You're affecting our residents, and we got major complaints. The last time it was a delay with I think it was the gas company. It took forever. So it
went up to the
sounds,
405.
it's right at the 405. It sounds as though people made decisions without involving the city. And you're using 3 miles in the city. It may be needed. It is needed. But you just don't come into the city and say, we're going to do this, and my city manager knows nothing about it. When we ask him, nobody's talked to him. I would like, so where is this community-based meeting going to be, this community meeting? Where is it going to be held?
It's going to be here at City Hall.
At City Hall?
Correct.
On Thursday?
I'm sorry. The Carson Event Center.
Yeah, the event center on Thursday.
Correct.
Are you guys planning another meeting?
As a matter of fact, we had one during lunch that was virtual. Yeah, I had some participation from the public attend. And then, so our second one will be on Thursday.
At 6?
Correct.
And how did you get the word out? I know I'm going to be there, but how did you get the word out?
As mentioned, we did send out mailers throughout the corridors, half-mile radius around the corridors. So there are over close to 5,000 mailers were sent out. We do have project information on our website. We do have a hotline. Social media was utilized as well. And yes, and getting the 2 community-based organizations to help out disseminate the information was also utilized.
Mr. City Manager, so the meeting is Thursday. I would like to, well, after the meeting, we can find out how productive this outreach was. You may have to do another one to get the city involved also. And that's not on your agenda, I know, on your calendar. Mr. City Manager.
What we'll do, Madam Mayor, is we're actually putting together some strategies now. We think we're going to go ahead and see if we can provide a walking service to do physical mailers to the residents within at least Councilman Hicks' district, because that's primarily being affected. And so that's one of the aspects. Again, we're continuing to loop through PIO the information as far as the Thursday's presentation town hall is being considered and to be had. But that's pretty much all we're going to have the ability and time to do at this point.
Yeah, I would like to piggyback off what my colleague said about some beautification, not just, it has to be some kind of landscaping, some kind of enhancement in this project. And also, we like to always be involved in the planning and not 2 days before. Councilman Deere.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a few questions as well. Well, I think you're in the right place right now. You're speaking to the 5 of us who represent 99,000 people of Carson who use this freeway frequently. First of all, my first question is, how far from the actual freeway physically are you going to try to impact and improve the circulation for pedestrians and cyclists and vehicles? That's my first question, but I have a series of questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Want to tackle them one by one?
One at a time, yeah.
Okay.
Because we want to get a clear answer, and we all want to know what the answer is.
Okay, perfect. So we're looking within the property lines within Caltrans. So that's what we have the ability to really impose improvements and these types of elements that are described as part of the project. What we are trying to do is collaborate with the city and seeing where those synergies can be developed with regards to like what projects or programs the city has in place right now that we can create those existing systems. There's examples where there's like bike lanes where they'll end under the freeway and restart back after the freeway. So we're looking at seeing, okay, how do we make those connections in order to have a fluid system that cyclists can utilize?
All right, well, one of the reasons I asked that question is that, unfortunately for Carson, our city has developed in a hodgepodge way without plans, in many cases without consideration of repercussions. When we redid the intersection of Avalon Boulevard and the 405 freeway, it eliminated pedestrian traffic on the west side of Avalon completely. Was that a good idea? Or maybe it was an economic decision, not a visionary decision. So part of the problem Carson has had is there's no vision. So we have to work with you in what you're doing to fit in what we're doing and not be in conflict. So those intersections, Main Street and the 405, Avalon Boulevard and the 405, and it's really pedestrian and cyclist unfriendly. The whole general area. So what you do, and in your plans, it needs to work together with this, with our city government to try to improve that problem. I don't know if this would be workable, but I've seen in other cities and where they've had actually pedestrian access over the freeway at times. And we have it on the 110 freeway now. But you know, those ideas need to be brought forward, and you know, I know the engineers would say, yes, we can do whatever you want to do if you have enough money. I know money is a consideration when you have a government agency and taxpayers' funds. We have a budget to work with. So within that budget, I think we need to make some massive improvements to those intersections. They're really a problem. I would label it their problem intersections, not only for public safety, but just general inconvenience, for economic reasons, for beauty, for aesthetics. So I'm very interested in working with you as well. And so what time on Thursday is this public meeting?
Sure, the meeting is at 6 p.m. this Thursday, 6 to 7:30.
In the Carson Event Center. Do you know what room you're in? It's a big center. If not, it's okay. We can find it easy enough. Okay, there's wayfinding signs in the event center. 6 p.m. So I agree with my colleagues and our city manager. There are other ways to outreach to the people of Carson. There are service clubs, fraternal organizations, other volunteer associations, Friends of the Library. Each park has a volunteer association. There's many opportunities to get the message out to the public. And here's a good example of how the city and your efforts can coincide for a mutual benefit, mutual goal. And I'm just suggesting you do that. And I would also suggest, without knowing a lot more than what you presented tonight, that there should be another community meeting after Thursday, because we're just learning about it now. And I want to conclude by saying I'm very happy you're here tonight. I'm happy you're presenting this. And we do, the five of us do represent the nearly 100,000 people of the city. And so let's work together to make a very successful project that we're all proud of, and 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, we'll be glad that that work was done in the right way. Thank you very much.
I don't see anyone else that's queued up. Oh, there you go, Dr. Hilton.
Just a simple request, if you have digital assets that maybe we could share and push out through social media, we'll do that. If you can get those to us, we'll do that. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam. Yeah, we'll make sure that if we could, staff is going to get that information from Metro so we can disseminate as the request. And then we'll also ask that we'll meet with Metro to see if we can have another date scheduled, so that way the city has an opportunity to participate in the town hall with ample time to be able to attend if they have questions or concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Our staff
Madam
will be-
Mayor, could we ask one question?
Queue up, Mr. Councilman
Oh,
Deal.
thank you. Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I mentioned maybe another meeting after Thursday. Is that a possibility, or are you set in concrete about your timeline already?
I wouldn't be able to provide an answer right now, but it's something that we can strive towards.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. And when you're meeting, talk about these benefits that we discussed earlier, how we can make this a nice project for the entire city, beautify it, come up with some solutions, not just adding a lane and say, okay, we're done. The pedestrians that pass through Carson, but what about our residents here in the city of Carson? So put that out on the table when you meet with your committee, that we're looking for just more than a lane enhancement. Okay? Thank you. Next, we have, I'm on item number 12, but yes. Presentation, no, item number 11 is from our city clerk. A presentation recognizing September 17th as National Voter Registration Day. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's really big. National Voter Registration Day. Okay. Congressman John Lewis, may he rest in honor, said, "The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it." Good evening, everyone. To our mayor, mayor pro tem, members of council, and my colleagues on the dais. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and here are a few of my thoughts. I want to take a moment tonight to talk about something that is fundamental to our democracy, our future, and our city: voting. Now, we hear a lot about the importance of voting, especially during election season, but I want to remind us all just how powerful this simple act truly is, whether it's here in Carson or on a national scale. Voting is one of the most direct ways that we as individuals can impact our community, our state, and our country. Every time we cast a ballot, we are shaping the future. When you vote in a local election, whether for city, council, school board, or any other office, you're voting for the kind of community you want to live in. You're deciding on the quality of our schools, the safety of our streets, and the services our cities provide to families, seniors, and businesses. But it doesn't stop there. When you vote in state or national elections, including for the president, you're making the decisions that will impact not only our local community, but this entire nation. The president shapes national policies that affect healthcare, jobs, education, and the environment. They decide how federal resources are distributed, and those resources flow right back to cities like ours. When you vote for the president, you're not just voting for a person, you're voting for policies that will influence everything from taxes that we pay to how our country responds in crisis. I know it's easy to feel disconnected from the larger political process, especially when things get messy on the national stage. You might ask, does my vote really make a difference in a presidential election with millions of voters? The answer is yes, absolutely. Just look at past elections. History has shown us that races can be decided by just a handful of votes, even at the presidential level. And in our local elections, where the margins are often even smaller, your vote holds even more weight. But here's the thing, voting isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. And this responsibility was earned for us through decades of struggle and sacrifice. People fought, marched, and even died for the right to vote. It wasn't that long ago that some communities were systematically denied this very right. So when we cast our ballots, we are honoring that fight, making sure that every voice matters and that our democracy truly works for everyone. For most of the nation's first century, the right to vote was almost entirely restricted to white property-owning men. In 1865, when the Civil War ended, that ended legalized slavery in the United States. The period of Reconstruction lasted from 1865 to 1877. In 1867, Congress passed the Reconstruction Act, which placed former Confederate states under military rule until they ratified the 14th Amendment and established new constitutions that guaranteed African Americans equal rights and protection. Black men now could vote and hold office. Women were considered childlike and incapable of independent thought. While women were granted the right to vote in 1920, most states still did not afford the right to Black women. That is why the feminist movement or the suffrage movement that many people rally around is primarily exclusive to white women. It would take 4 more decades, the passage of the Civil Rights Act, Jim Crow, before Black women could actually vote nationwide. In our city of Carson, where we pride ourselves on community values, we know the power of the collective action. We know the importance of standing up for what's right. Voting is one of the easiest yet most powerful ways to do that. And it's not just about showing up on election day. It's about staying informed, being engaged, and encouraging others to do the same. Talk to your friends, your neighbors, your family members. Make sure they know what's at stake and how easy it is to register to vote. Our community thrives when we all participate, and when we vote, we make sure our voices are heard in every decision, from the local level to the national stage. I also want to stress the importance of voting in every election, not just the big ones. Of course, the presidential race gets a lot of attention, but local elections matter just as much, if not more, in shaping our day-to-day lives. Our city council, school boards, judges, and local measures have a direct impact on the quality of our life here in Carson. These are the people and policies that determine how our community grows, how we support our young people, and how we respond to issues like housing and public safety. These decisions happen right here, and they happen because you vote. So as we approach the next election, I challenge each of you and every one of you to be an informed and engaged voter and vote up and down the ballot. Research the candidates, understand the issues, and make sure you know where you stand. When you vote, you're not just casting a ballot, you're making a choice about the future of your family, your neighborhood, and your country. And if you don't vote, you're letting others decide for you. So don't let that happen. Whether it's a city council election or presidential election, every vote counts. And more importantly, every vote is a step toward the future we want for Carson and for the United States. So let's make sure that future reflects the best of us, our values, our hopes, and our vision for a stronger, more united community. There are voter registration applications in the city clerk's office, and you can register to vote online at sos.ca.gov. Additionally, there will be 6 vote centers in the city of Carson, 1 at Cal State Dominguez Hills, 1 at Veterans Park, 1 at Foycia Park, 1 at Stevenson Park, 1 at Anderson Park, and 1 at the Carson Community Center. But remember, you can vote anywhere in the county. But of course, we want you to utilize the vote centers in your own city if you can. The park administration has worked closely with the team at LA County to ensure that there are numerous locations right here in the city of Carson to serve our residents. If you have any questions about registering to vote or about the upcoming election, do not hesitate to reach out to the city clerk's office. The phone number to the city clerk's office is 310-952-1720. Thank you very much. Your favorite city clerk.
Our favorite city clerk. I love it. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. And next we have item, I'm waiting for it to pop up, 13. 12 was we just presentation on new council chambers audio-visual system. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This presentation will be provided by our Director of Information and Technology. You all are experiencing it both in person and those that are at home watching and listening. So I'll allow our Director, Gary Carter of Information and Technology, to provide a brief presentation.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Hilton, City Council members, executive team, it's my pleasure and excitement to present to you today our new council chambers AV system. Our new AV system was designed first and foremost with accessibility in mind, to be inclusive to all residents for sight, sound, and touch. At sight, you can see the 130-inch Samsung primary display. It's the largest that we're aware of in any California local government city council chambers. Our vendors confirm that from their awareness of installations. It ensures folks with difficulty reading small text the opportunity to read presentations. We also have an 85-inch ultra high def 4K secondary display as well. One of the items we're working on is the custom codec for your mics. They have Halo mics, so instead of always having all the mics red, they will be off. When you're muted, when you're on, it'll be green. It allows anyone following with closed captioning, unable to hear the sound, to see the interaction a little bit better. Sound, we actually have some of these assisted listening devices. This ensures that we're ADA compliant for folks that are have listening needs. And then touch. We did have an issue with our adjustable height lectern. There was a motor issue, but it's being replaced. And when that comes in about a month, this will actually be able to have adjustable height with space for wheelchairs to present. It's important that as a place of democracy where all the policy happens and taking input from the residents, that folks were able to bring their presentations and be in control of those presentations and comments. The second priority was to have an easy-to-use, streamlined workflow with both the agenda infused with the AV controls, and make sure that the process is streamlined from the agenda drafting to the control of the meeting and publishing of those minutes and broadcasting. And then the final priority with all this new technology, as you know, was to provide a state-of-the-art modern AV system that's worthy of a future unlimited. And I'll let you be the judge of how we did. We have a little video to present.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a second. I used to be on our Public Works Director. How long have you been here?
Oh, geez. About 13 months.
About 13 months.
13 months,
okay.
almost.
Public Works Director, how long you been here? Oh, okay. 17? Okay. Well, very good. I'm totally impressed about, even with the fact that it's operating on our first day, because one time we went through this renovation project and nothing was working. So I just want to thank you, and just to let you know, we'll keep you a little longer.
Appreciate you, Madam Mayor. I have a few shout outs. This was a massive project. If you don't mind, our IT staff, Sparkle Ross, Ngozi Chukwumordi, Edgar Cuevas, Hector Ramirez, Ernie Santos, Mitch Morones. In Public Works, there was a partnership. We were poking, when you start poking on things, you start finding things you didn't know. So my guy, Junior Gerardo Moreno, he built a wall with Javier Morales. My prior agency, we weren't allowed to touch council chambers, and they just built it in a weekend. Freddie Loza, Dr. Rogers, of course, City Clerk Bradshaw and her team, and City Manager Roberts, Assistant City Manager Dr. Lennox, who always gives me provocative questions that I have to look up sometimes. Michael George, Priscilla Kennard, and then we have AJ, Cloud Driven Solutions. He has the software. And then Western AV. I just want to do a shout out for Western AV. We had a lot of changes. They haven't charged us $1 more than what was in their contract, and are making good on any issues that we had without us paying a penny more. We actually added some change orders. So we added your city council office kitchen, as well as the executive conference room. Eric Wilson's the audio engineer. That now is why we have good audio. You don't hear any feedback loops and popping. Edgar Carrillo, Garrett Smith. Yeah, it was awesome collaboration. So it was a hoot doing it, and we're looking forward to more projects like this.
A hoot. Thank you to our IT. Next, we'll have Just did the audio visual. We'll have item number 13, update on electric vehicle charging stations. Ms. Rita?
September is a very important month. There's a lot of things going on.
We see. Our future is unlimited, as though that's our motto. So let's keep doing these great projects.
So I have one slide and I have a video. So let me just go through the slide first, and then I'll play the video if that's okay with the mayor. So before you, you have a list of all the EV charging projects that the city has underway currently. There's 154 charging ports that are expected to be fully commissioned before the end of the year. The video that we're going to play shortly is the Tesla supercharger station. That's 20 of the fast chargers that were installed and commissioned last week. We had two events last week focused on celebrating that opening. One was a media event on Tuesday, and then we had the Thursday community event, which we had some really good participation at. And all the balance of the sites will be commissioned before the end of the year. And I too would like to say thank you to the folks that are helping me with the project. So I'll start with the city manager. David Roberts, our assistant city manager, our deputy city manager. I also want to thank our director of public works, Dr. Arlington Rogers, and his staff. We have Gilbert Marquez as a city engineer, Victor Lopez, Kirby Jones. Kirby was out there this morning because we had 3 pre-con meetings this morning, and we visited Stevenson Park, we visited the corporate yard on the community center side, community services side, and we also visited Dolphin Park, and so we got some good information on those projects. I would like to also acknowledge Gary Hild from the public works side, and then from community services, our director, Michael Whitaker, Modesto, Dara Sandoval, Tim Grierson, Charles Dominguez, John Martinez, and Cesar Padilla. All of these folks have been working together collaboratively to make these projects happen. And so we are still under construction for the balance, not the Tesla ones, but the balance that you see on the screen. And so we will continue to work together to deliver these projects before the end of the year. So thank you for that. And then I can play the video. Okay.
What a great day to be in the city of Carson. This is something we've been talking about, and we're excited about the fact that Tesla chose Carson to install these 20 supercharging stations.
As a proud owner of electric vehicles, I'm happy that I will be able to charge closer to home. I encourage everyone to take advantage of this new facility and continue supporting initiatives that promote sustainability.
It's a station that is going to promote sustainable transportation. Many people will be coming to Carson, which is an economic development effort that we always are thinking about. We want people to come to our city and do what? Spend their money. This represents high technology, and it represents the real future of Carson.
I like seeing or driving in here and seeing the parking lot full. The superstation is easily accessible near the 405 freeway and at our very own Carson Event Center. So that's great because we can get people to come to our events. And while they're here, they can charge their vehicles, they can tell their friends, and everyone is just going to be headed in this direction, which is our goal.
It is always a pleasure to do something in the city of Carson that makes history. You know, we're opening up the first V4 superchargers in the entire South Bay. Me being the past chair of the South Bay COG and over 17 cities that I actually oversaw, this is something that the other cities are envious about, in that we are doing something that most cities want to do but haven't done it yet. Creating a sustainable future for Carson means that we have made a cleaner decision for today.
We are becoming greener and cleaner
the Tesla supercharger network, in my mind, is the crown jewel of Tesla, enables people to buy the vehicles, and why not in the jewel of the South Bay? Why not Carson?
So while we are super excited about having these Tesla superchargers at our Carson Event Center, we are just as excited about all of the other EV charging projects the city has underway. The city has over 154 EV charging ports that are planned. We have 20 here, and the balance is going to be at all of our other facilities. So by the end of this calendar year, we expect to have 154 active charging ports. We have 20 here that are going to be the fast chargers, and the balance are going to be level 2 chargers within our parks, at our city facilities, and within our community and our neighborhoods.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's not on the agenda is we're going to add is gonna, oh, I'm sorry, mine hasn't popped up yet. Oh, MPT.
I was just going to say that was incredible. Short on voice tonight, but that was incredible. I think whoever handles the city's social media, that should be blasted all over social media. Just my thought to show what the city is doing to present sustainable growth in our city. Whoever handles that, PSAs, that should be all over everything. That should be an instant commercial. So whoever does that, it should be, and I want to copy myself. So whoever has it, if they would send it to me in a moment, like now.
And in the next moment, you send it to Maisha and me. In the next moment, so you got 2 moments.
Yes.
Councilwoman.
Yes, and then send it to me, and I will add music to it, because that's what I always do with all our videos. Thank you so much. And what's really good and what's really great is when you're driving on the 405 in your EV vehicle, Carson will show up on your screen that there's a charging station there. And yes, we're on the map. We're on everybody's map going 405 south, north, and we're going to get even bigger. So thank you. Congratulations to all of us, City of Carson.
Thank you. And people are asking, how did we make the front page of the Los Angeles Business Journal? You're just getting a glimpse. It's the first time we're on the front page of the Los Angeles Business Journal. Awesome. Okay, so I don't see anyone else queued up. Councilman Hicks, you have a presentation?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to present to the residents of Carson and to this dais this past Saturday on the 14th, my 5th annual Prostate Cancer Awareness 5K walk at Cal State University Dominguez Hills. And for our men and women out there, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men in the United States, other than skin cancer, and is the 2nd leading cause of death amongst men after lung cancer. So it is very important for men to get their prostate checked, to go and get a blood test, and to understand what the importance of having this done for them. And implore women, tell your boyfriend, your husbands to go and get tested, because most times we won't go until they tell us to go. And with that, Marla Tellers is on Channel 511 News. She's been our MC and our PSA, a cheerleader for the last 5 years, and she did a special that came on Monday night last night.
Welcome back. Thanks to all of those who came out over the weekend to help raise awareness for the 2nd leading cause of cancer in men, prostate cancer. The 5th annual Prostate Cancer Awareness Walk, it was held at Cal State Dominguez Hills in Carson. It is hosted by Carson City Councilman Cedric Hicks Sr. on the left and prostate cancer survivor Lonzo Williams. Now, this is an event I've been emceeing for 4 years now. It included free testing on site at this mobile clinic. It brought out viewers like Rose and Stephen and Carson Mayor Lula Davis Holmes.
We always talk about women's health, and men sometimes forget
that they have problems too.
Prostate cancer is a senseless way to die. All you have to do is get checked. Early detection is the key.
Given that this is the 5th annual, what sort of feedback have you received from just this simple event to raise awareness?
It has raised the awareness tenfold. Before, people didn't even know or they knew about prostate cancer, but no one talked about it.
They're talking about it now. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. It impacts 1 in 8 men. Black men are almost 2 times as likely to be diagnosed with it than white men. It is common, but if caught early, it is curable. One of the themes, Alex, out there was to encourage women to encourage their men to get checked, right?
If you get the women, you probably get the men.
We'll make the appointment if we have to.
That's the way it works.
And then also our viewer, Timothy McDonald, he reached out to me and he donated $1,000 to the cause, just
Nicely
like that.
done.
Yeah,
And
really
good
well
for
done.
you to be out there as well.
All right. That needs to be on social media also.
I want to thank the mayor and also Arlene for coming out and always supporting. I know MPT was at another event, but had to rush off and do what he had to go do and take care of business. And normally, Deere is always there, but he didn't make it this year, so
We
you
were there.
missed.
Do we have the carousel track project and the pavement press conference? Are those ready to be seen, or do we have them? If not, I'll move on to all communications for matters listed on the agenda. Madam Clerk, we don't have any on the agenda, on agendized items. So I will go right to all items not listed. Ms. Georgia Brown, could you come forward, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Apologize, I don't have a fancy video to show you. But I would at this time. And because I don't need to tell you why I'm here, because I've been here several times, in fact, many years, about the same problem. And I would invite you to just take a walk over to the 24-hour fitness and see for yourself. You don't have to listen to me. It's filthy. It's shameful. It's unsanitary. And each time that I go, I make sure I put my mask on to go inside. It's out front. It's perfectly clean inside. And the personnel in there, they do all they can to make sure we're comfortable and it's clean. And they say that they are not permitted to go outside to clean, but it's bird droppings and other trackings, and it's shameful. So, as I said, I've written letters. I've visited with you several times, and you have petitions and whatever on file. You even had somebody, one of your assistants went over to take a look, and he said, I agree, it is dirty. And he said that he had filed his reports wherever he's supposed to file, he did. But I would just invite that you please consider us, because it's dirty, and I don't know any place else to go but to you. You're the, and I've been told that you don't own the place they're renting, but you run the city. And I thought when we have a matter concerning the city, we're supposed to bring it to you. You're the fixers. If you can't fix it, I don't know who can. Seems simple to me to fix. So would you kindly just think about us? That's just about. And you know, it's really important to me because I have no business being out this time of night late. But I sat here because I wanted you to know that, because I should be in the house locked down. But I just wanted to remind you that. It's dirty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I think our city manager and our assistant city manager, we've sent letters of, because you did do the petition. We had the petition. We went over, and now I think our assistant city manager has a follow-up. But we've been following this, and you're right, it's dirty. And so we've talked to everyone. Mr. City Manager, Assistant City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, the staff has actually gone out multiple times to clean at the street level. So that happens on the regular. In addition, though, code enforcement will make another visit to see if we need to open a case. So we have been on top of it, yes.
But it hasn't, it gets okay for a minute. She contacts me all the time saying, you know, I need your assistance. It hasn't fallen on deaf ears. I've sent it to our assistant city manager. Like he said, our code enforcement. So now we'll have to take it to even a higher level, because they met with the mall manager. They met with the 24-hour complex. We've even sent out and tried to clean up for you. But we hear you. I hear you for sure. And I just want to thank you for being out. And I want you to go home now, because you have no business out. But I know you don't. Councilman Deere has a comment. Statement.
Yeah, Georgia, thanks for bringing it to our attention again. It is very important. As you know, we all looked into it. I looked into it myself. It does seem to be a case of passing the buck. The mall management said it's 24-hour fitness should take care of it. 24-hour fitness says the mall should take care of it because it's landscaping in the mall. But the city government could find out exactly whose responsibility it is. We had a similar situation with the management of the shopping center at Main Street in Sepulveda. It's a very large shopping center with a Home Depot store and an Albertsons and so forth. And there was a pothole, and the management of the shopping center said, oh, it's the city's responsibility, that pothole. But after over a year of going back and forth and investigating and finding the legal truth about who's responsible, it was a shopping center that was responsible the whole time. So we need to find out, and I think that the council should have the city management and maybe the city attorney find out who is legally responsible for maintaining that landscaping, because it really does look bad. It makes the whole city look bad if you go visit that. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's not only the landscaping, but I think the assistant city manager said code enforcement is going out, they're going to cite, and I personally will make a call to the new owner of the mall again, because it's not just the landscaping, it's the other things that's involved. So you have to do it your end, and then we'll step it up another level. But I do want you to go home and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have, well, you know, we sang happy birthday to our councilman, but I see a lot of his supporters are sitting in the audience, and we don't want them to think that we didn't say happy birthday, so we're going to sing happy birthday again. Yeah, let's do it again. 1, 2.
Use your best voice now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very, very much. I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, because they only
Have
sing.
a blessed evening, everyone.
Yes, we're not leaving yet. Next, we'll have under non-agendized items, Dan Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council, and staff. Just to say, my last name's Valdez, but thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes. I want to touch base here on events that has happened within the Filipino community. A paper was given to me, and I've been to several of these meetings with the Filipino community, but also I want to be clear, it just wasn't Filipinos, it was of different ethnics and groups. And the topic is about how PIDC, Filipino Independence Day celebration, was done. The one thing that was addressed that was Ted Benito was paid $40,000 without going through a proclamation process. Also, it was said, why was the city allowing Ted Benito to have a monopoly on all the Filipino events? There is local talent performers that had complained not being allowed to perform at the Filipino Independence Day celebration this year, which then Ted Benito and his close friends got to perform at Veterans Park, and they did not even live in the city of Carson. And also, it was everybody was saying, why was Jim Deere removed from the Filipino Independence Day celebration planning committee, and he has been an outstanding supporter of the Filipinos, and also Veteran Park is in his district. This matter upset dozens of the Filipinos that when they were not allowed to park at Veterans Park, they found it very disrespectful, not just to themselves, but to their families just as well. Also, should Ted Benito been allowed to attend the planning meetings because he is a vendor? Also, to facilitate the events was wrong too. Previously years, when PIDF was the one that hosted the Filipino Independence Foundation, the Filipino Independence Day event, there's tens of thousands of dollars that was saved from them doing it instead of Ted Benito. A ridiculous cost to the taxpayer. Why did Penn did not allow to put any entertainers? Why must PIDF pay $1,500 insurance for the city event?
Madam Mayor, that's 3 minutes.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
I'll be back next time to conclude. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
2 weeks. Thank you. Jose Pena.
Hello, everybody. Jose Pena, ex-employee of the City of Carson. This visit is long overdue. I left the City of Carson about 2 years ago. And I'll tell you a little story why I'm here today. But first of all, I want to thank you guys for Country Western Fair this past Friday. It's kind of hard to top that event next year. I know that event was on the chopping block, but of all the 50 plus events that the City of Carson puts on, that is a true community event because it's wedged in between two schools and the community comes out. So thank you guys again for letting us celebrate this year. I first transferred to Dominguez Park in 2015. And first year coaching flag football, I had a kid on the field, stepped in a gopher hole, twisted his ankle. Kid never came back out to play football the rest of his life. Never seen the kid again. During our soccer seasons, year after year, we have, actually a few years ago, we had a couple referees that went down, stepping on gopher holes, accident reports, go to risk management. Nothing was ever really done. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Rancho Dominguez Prep, they play their high school softball games at Dominguez Park. And when I was the park supervisor there, on a couple occasions, we had visiting high school softball teams twist their ankles in the outfield. As a park supervisor, I was embarrassed that our fields were in that condition. Nothing was ever really done. Myself, in 2022, I'm out there on the field, step on a gopher hole, twist my ankle, did an accident report. Mike Whitaker, I don't know if you remember this day, but we're standing getting tacos for Sal Ortega's going away thing. I'm wearing a boot, and you ask me what happened. I tell you, hey, it's a GoPro at Dominguez Park, and he kind of laughed it off. Oh, it's always been like that. That always stuck in my head. I've always had respect for you as our director, but that just kind of showed me the leadership that the city has. I think it was that same day or a week after, Mr. Robert Lennox, we had a phone conversation. I called you on your cell, and I asked you, hey man, I just want you to come walk these fields with me. Let me know if you will let your boys play soccer on these fields. Robert, I'm talking to you right now. I don't know if you remember that, but you told me, hey, work with your team. I know Mike and I know Tim are working with Public Works, you know, and that was that. You didn't even meet me out there. So that's the kind of leadership that I feel this department has, and that was part of the reason why I left after 25 years of Parks and Rec, to be completely honest. So today I'm at the park, Ruby Cisneros. I'm running soccer practice. I still got my whistle on. She twists her ankle, stepping on gopher hole, crying bloody murder. And I said, you know what, enough's enough. Like I said, this meeting, I've been wanting to come for the last 2 years because nothing has changed. And it's always been like that. It's always been like that. I'd like to see a little change. I joked around with you, Cedric, on a Friday, hey, be careful, you might step on a gopher hole, but
Madam
they're
Mayor,
out
that's
there.
3 minutes.
And
Jose Pena, Dominguez Park is on the next park to be looked at. Those gopher holes, as you know, is coming up through the system. We dug down so many feet, they're back. It's an ongoing problem, but our kids getting injured is not acceptable. So I know it's on the list to be looked at, including the lighting. So, and I met with your president of your association today at the park, but our kids getting injured, we have to correct that. But those gophers, coming and going. I hear you. Staff hears you. Mike Whitaker hears you. Our maintenance crew hears you. But you are on the list, and I don't know, we've done everything for those gopher holes, and they go away for a minute and they come right back. We dig down, they dig deeper and come back up. So I'm asking staff to see what we can do. We brought in specialists before. So we cannot have our kids injured.
Madam Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, just so you know, item number 35 for tonight,
Yes.
as well as the constituent,
and I
I
was
believe
getting ready to
Councilman
pull-
Hicks is going to pull it, but there's actually a gopher abatement item that's on the item for
Okay.
this evening.
Because it's not falling on deaf ears. We just need to find a solution again. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for being a coach. We have Cedric Hicks queued up.
Well, you talked about it. This is an issue that I know has been happening at Dominguez Park for some time now, and I heard the residents loud and clear. There is an item on the agenda tonight that will be brought up, and we'll be discussing and a plan of action. With that being said, I'll just wait till the item come up, item number 35.
Item 35, okay. Councilman Deere.
Yeah, I have a question for Jose Pena. If you please come back to the microphone. And while he's walking back, I, of course, was at the country fair along with my colleagues. And you pointed out a few things in the park, the lights, the gopher holes. It is atrocious. And from your experience, 25 years with the city, you know what you're talking about. And are there any other parks in Carson in that bad of condition?
first of all, thank you, Mr. Deere. And just because you wear cowboy boots don't make you a cowboy. Just kidding.
I had my hat too. And my
But
belt.
no, great point though. George, who is on the Public Works team, landscaping, a few years ago, I asked him, he sits on the tractor and he mows the lawns of all the parks. And I asked him, hey, of all the 12 parks, which park is the worst? By far, Dominguez Park. And you see it when he's out there on the tractor. It's the worst park. Delamo has some issues, right? When it floods, you get the salt that comes up. Dolphin Park has gotten a little worse over the years. With a similar gopher infestation, but they got fertile soil there, so the grass comes back pretty quick. Hemingway, at times I've seen it gets a little rough by the power lines, but I've been at all the parks. I was born and raised in Carson, to be quite honest. I had lifelong goals to stay here in the city of Carson, but the painting was on the wall, and when I met with my mentors, they said Carson's a sinking ship, so I left. But long story short, Dominguez Park is quite the worst. Field conditions. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. Madam Mayor, to the city manager on the same subject. Since we have a street improvement program where we're looking at the worst streets, we're taking care of the worst streets first, why don't we apply that principle to the parks? if Dominguez Park is in the worst condition, shouldn't it get our attention first before other parks?
It is. It's next. We are applying that same approach. All the parks on the list, they just finished one park.
Okay,
Dominguez
well, this was a
Park
question
is
to the
next.
city manager, and
This
his
Dominguez
voice is
Park
not
is
a
next.
female
Okay.
voice. So, what can you tell us from the staff point of view? Why would Dominguez Park have been neglected, clearly neglected for so many years? Why is that?
Thank you, Councilman Durr. So that's a great question. I can't state that it's been neglected on purpose or what the reasons stated behind. This is the first that I've heard from Mr. Pena about gopher holes and the issues that he's brought and raised this evening. I know that it was an item that Councilman Hicks had raised previously, which is why it's on the agenda now. But as far as your recommendation, I don't see why we couldn't do that. That's something that you all as a council have obviously the authority to do so. So if that's what you would all like, it's a pleasure of the council. Be happy to move on that directive. But as far as the reasoning for why one particular park is in worse condition than the other, I'd have to defer over to our Director of Community Services to provide more of a detailed answer. But as far as being able to answer the request and handle the request of the directive, if that's what you all as a council like to do, I'd be happy to move forward on that.
All right, thank you for the answer. It is on the radar now, thanks to Mr. Pena and other people. Shouldn't have to get this far, but it has. So we're gonna work on it and improve that park. I mean, there's no other choice than to put resources into Dominguez Park. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, the director would like to speak.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about Dominguez Park. We have worked tirelessly at Dominguez Park in regards to the gopher problem. In regards to the issue that we've been facing, it's not new to any city, to any park, to anyone that has worked in the recreation department. You can go to any city, and it is a problem that many cities have with gophers in their particular parks. It is possible to slow them down, but to eradicate them, it is almost impossible. We have been through many of our parks here in the city of Carson. We have contacted specialists, we have had contractors, we have had on-call contractors to come out and look at this issue. Currently, we have an item that we have on tonight that has gone through the entire RFP process over the last 6 weeks. And we have chosen a new vendor that we hope that will assist us in this particular process. I have talked with Dominguez Park. I have talked with Councilman Hicks on multiple meetings. I have been to their town hall meetings. I have been to meetings that they've had at their park. I've walked the fields. My staff have walked the fields. We've had all different types of ways to try and eradicate the gophers from Dominguez Park. We do understand that the high school is next door, and it is very important that everyone is safe when they're playing on our fields. Even when as far as using smoke to smoke the actual gophers out so that we can get them out of that particular area. We have gone through a gambit of things to get those out, and so I do understand. I'm not upset with the comments in regards to the people at Dominguez Park. I wouldn't want my grandkids or my kids to run on those fields and be injured as well, or my staff. But we are making every effort in order to try and make this possible, and that's why we do have an item on the agenda for tonight. And just for the record, during the time when Mr. Pena actually injured himself, I was in human services. I wasn't working in the division of recreation during that time. But since that time, we have worked tirelessly to try to fix this particular issue that we have.
Thank you. And to the staff, I hear the comments, why can't we do the parks? If you look at your capital improvement list, they're listed. The parks are all listed. The question was raised, why did we let them get in this position? Because before Councilman Mayor Pro Tem, myself, and Hicks had the vote, we had no revenue coming in. You can't, and so it was pushed down. It's pushed to the top of the list right now, just like all of our streets and our trees. So when we say we have $229 million in surplus, that is to go to renovating our parks. It's tops on our list, and they are prioritized. You talk to residents at Callis Park, they say theirs is the worst. You talk to Sky Park, they say theirs is the worst. You talk to Del Amo Park, they say theirs is the worst. But there is, to my colleagues, on your capital improvement list, a list, am I correct, Mr. Assistant City Manager, that says the parks will be renovated and brought back to the standard when you were playing at the park, okay? That was one of my commitments to the residents of the city of Carson when I became mayor. Your streets, your trees, and your parks will be taken care of. And I think Mike Whitaker, I think our assistant city manager, we're all moving in that direction. But there's a whole list of capital improvement projects. And Dominguez is next. Farcia has a grant. Callis Park has a grant. We're just marching through Georgia, okay? So I appreciate you coming out and expressing your concerns. You grew up in the parks, and you know that gopher problem has been there forever. And we've tried to remediate it on several times. Hopefully this will give us, help us a little further. But I want to thank you for putting that list together because it's on the agenda. I asked for it to be updated frequently so we'll know where we are on our capital improvement projects. So when we talk about prioritizing, we already have. I think Scott has funding, Callis Park, Carriage Crest Park. Just march to Georgia. They're there. Dominguez is next, okay? And you'll meet with staff. And we met with the president of your association at the Country and Western Fair also. Okay, so thank you very much. Next we have Claudio, you here? Come on down. Call us beautiful.
Thank you, Claudio. Thank you very much.
Start the clock.
My birthday's coming in October, so carrot cake is my favorite cake.
Your time is ticking.
Now,
thank you.
Lula, you look beautiful tonight.
Thank you.
First of all, the reason I'm here to discuss this government code CalPERS on 21063, it was brought to my attention that CalPERS right now is conducting an audit because some agency did not report the right compensation to the employees regarding the compensation. And the last time I spoke on September the 3rd, I mentioned to you guys that you need to look at this code because it's gonna create a lot of problems. And my words came through. So I just came to mention it to you guys and that's about it.
Thank you.
So basically, Lula, Miss Davis, I'm sorry, the last time I
Davis
left, you made a comment in regards to, you mentioned my name and somebody else's name. So I just want to mention to you that Bob Marley made it clear, do not wait in vain for your love. And that's a true saying. That's Bob Marley, okay?
Thank you.
So you take it easy, okay?
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monica, you look beautiful tonight, okay? See you guys later.
Brandy?
Good evening, Mayor Lula Davis Holmes, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Jawan Hilton, Councilman Cedric Hicks, Councilman Jim Deere, happy birthday, sir,
Thank you.
and Councilwoman Arlene Rojas. First, I want to thank each of you and the City of Carson for your continued support and dedication to improving our community. Your efforts are appreciated and they do not go unnoticed. I am excited to share that we've been diligently working behind the scenes on the grocery store initiative. Today, we received some incredible news from the property owner about moving forward with the grocery store project, which I believe will be highly beneficial to the city and its residents. I also want to thank the City of Carson for being responsive to the owner. He specifically mentioned how helpful and communicative the city has been during this process, and I'm confident this cooperation will lead to a successful outcome for everyone. We're excited for what's to come, and I'm grateful for the continued partnership. This grocery store will address some much-needed gaps in our community, providing better access to quality food and a space that will serve as a gathering point for many. My hope is that when we get to the point of when we can share what the city is doing, this will become an agendized item. Secondly, I want to bring up a personal issue I've been dealing with related to a contractor working in the city While they were doing gravel work near my home, gravel from their rocks hit my windshield, causing damage. I've gone back and forth with the risk management manager, but I'm still looking for a resolution. I understand accidents happen, but I believe when contractors do business in our city, they should take responsibility for damages caused by their work. This is not just about my situation. These trucks are still operating in our city. And if they're not going to take responsibility when things like this happen, I think we need to reconsider our relationship with them. I'd appreciate any help or direction the council can offer to resolve this matter. I recently received an email from Dr. Arlington Rogers, and my hope is that I will receive what I need to assist in the matter. Lastly, I'd like to remind everyone that our next city meeting or community meeting is on October 17th at 6 p.m. at My Father's Barbecue, and I hope you can attend, as it will be a great opportunity to continue the important discussions that are shaping the future of our community. Thank you for your time and for your continued support of the initiatives that are benefiting the city of Carson. I look forward to working with you to continue making positive changes in our community. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Clover Jean Good.
Good afternoon. My name is Clovie Jean Good. I've been a resident for the city of Carson for 60 years, a business owner for 20 years, and I'm a retired longshoreman, walkie boss foreman. So I guess that makes me important. I'm here to ask District 2 Council Member Jim Deere to please stop telling people in the community that I'm voting or endorsing him for mayor. I told him and a good friend a year ago that I was not. The lie is affecting my status and my reputation in the community, and I just want to put a stop to it. I'm here to ask in a professional manner for it to stop. My support should not be that important. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Leslie.
Madam Mayor, just a quick comment. I'm not telling anyone that you're endorsing or supporting me. So if someone told you that,
Robert Leslie,
they made
please.
it up. And I'm saying it public on TV. I'm not saying you're endorsing or supporting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
No clocks here.
Oh, it's going to start.
Good evening to the council body as well to staff. I'm here this evening. Matter of fact, one of the council people asked, well, I haven't seen you at the meeting lately. We must be doing good. So I won't say the person's name, but the council knows who I'm talking about. I've been here at these meetings so many times over the years, and too many times with different administrations, or brother, excuse me. In saying that, at this point right now, I was going to speak a couple meetings before on some things with this homeless project, but again, like I said, I have to reflect to this last meeting I was at. It brought a reminder back to me in regards to when I was here dealing with issues about divisive and misleading information. It's unfortunate it happened up under Mr. Deere administration at the time. I used to have to come here because there was too much divisiveness and misinformation. Whether we bring it in the Filipino community, the Black communities, mobile home parks, well, just too much misinformation here. And with that said, it was just a violation of people's rights. Even your colleagues on the staff up here, he used to cut you off when he didn't agree with you. It's sad that at the same time, it was an event honoring, supposed to honor the veterans there was something dealing with the oil company instead of the veterans. I'm saying this right now, even when he was temporary city clerk is stagnate the business. I couldn't come in here and take care of business because we had to close down the office. I'm saying to you right now, today is voter registration day. Make sure that you're going to get leadership that continuously make this city go forth, not divisiveness, not misleading information, not lies. We got enough at the national level. Let's don't bring it here to the local level. I'm saying to you, I don't like coming up in front of this podium anymore. I've been here too many years and too long. So I'm asking you again, please vote for some leadership that's going to keep this city in a cohesive manner in a direction that we all can be proud of and stop the divisiveness. Thank you.
The last speaker under non-agendized all communications will be Monette Gavino Deer. Anyone else wanting to speak, you'll speak after the business is taken care of. Monette Gavino Deer, she has a message. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. Good evening, Carson, California. My name is Monette Gavino Deer. Thank you for saying my name correctly. First of all, I would like to thank you for singing happy birthday to Jim Deere. So I would like to present this. This came from your friends. So can someone give it to him, please?
Another cake?
Yes. You can share it. So
Thank you.
I just wanna you have it because I don't want them to think that I didn't give it to you and I ate it. And then the lady who spoke a while ago, I really didn't know her, and we are the people behind his clean campaign. Our campaign is very clean. So I just want to read some Bible verses. So this is from Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 to 19. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the communities. So, first of all, second of all, actually, so I will give this to Ms. Rojas. Can you hand it to Ms. Rojas for her homework? Okay, thank you. Just for homework. So she can research it tonight when she gets home. And then today is not only Jim Deere's birthday, makes the day more special. Today is also Constitution Day. So today commemorates the signing and formation of the U.S. Constitution in 1787 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So happy Constitution Day to everyone. Don't forget to vote for the best leaders in Carson. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm
the
sorry.
Oral communication.
Cut the mic. I said that she was the last one. You'll have to wait until I get my. Excuse me. This is oral communications, non-agendized items, and I said Monette was the last person to speak. I said Monette was a. You don't have a card. No. I know. You will when I finish my business. You don't call the shots. Mr. Sheriff. No. Did I not say that Monette was the last person to speak? You didn't fill out a card. You did. Excuse me. Now, if you want to speak, you wait until I finish my business. No. Excuse me. You can have a seat. We're going to move through this agenda, and then you can come back. You got me? Whatever you want to call it, mister. No, you cannot interrupt. Please.
Deputy, it's 415 of the Penal Code section. You can do what you need to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now,
Want to wish me happy birthday.
Thank you. We sang it twice. You were late. Don't make me go there with you. Okay, the next is item number 14, approval of the following city council successor agency.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? No, none. Cast your vote.
Now, how you do that?
Wait a minute, how did I do that? Oh, start vote.
Oh, there you go.
Madam Mayor, I have a question to the city. Again, the screen went blank.
Okay, could you cue up Mr. Councilman Deere?
Maybe the technician can come over and find out what's wrong with this screen. It's the third time it's happened tonight.
It's what?
Councilmember Deere, we were informed that there was a user error. I don't know what buttons you're pushing, but you're inadvertently turning off. Okay, you got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, are we clear? We straight? We can vote?
Yes, please, vote.
Okay, I voted. I think I voted.
I voted.
Everybody is there.
Have everybody, Madam City Clerk?
Ta-da.
Ta-da!
Oh, there you go.
All right, we're gonna get it together.
Thank you. Vote is unanimous.
Yes.
Okay, item number 15 is approval of the remaining 2021, all right, backlog of City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority minutes.
Motion to approve.
It's not popping up on my, it's been moved and properly second.
1 minute, Madam Mayor. Where is it?
It's not popping up.
Hold on. So we gotta pull it. Can you repeat the motion, please?
approve the
approve the
minutes.
minutes for the
Approve the
remaining 2021 backlog of City Council. Item number 15.
Yes, who made the motion, Madam Mayor?
Cedric made it. Who second?
MPT, second.
Thank you. Okay, you're able to vote now.
We'll get through it. It's just a new system.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Mayor?
Yes. Oh, I did hit it, didn't I? Okay, there you go.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 16 through 43 is approval of the consent calendar.
Move approval, Madam Mayor.
It's been moved and probably second. I'd like to pull item number 31. It will be continued. Item number 27, 28. Which one were you gonna pull?
35.
27, 28.
35.
35?
35.
35. Move for approval.
And
Yes,
I'm sorry. You're pulling more items?
I'm
Oh, you
pulling.
pulled 27, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay,
27, 28.
I'll pull 29.
You're gonna pull 29?
Yes.
Okay. Move for approval of the consent calendar with the exception of items number 27, 28, 29, 33. 31 will be continued, and 35. Been moved and properly second. Please cast your vote.
Madam Mayor, I think I made the motion to Dr. Kalia.
You did?
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought it was moved and properly second.
Okay, I'll correct it in the minutes.
It was Jim and.
I'll correct it in the minutes.
No, okay, that's fine, just a technical problem, it looks like.
Jim and MPT,
The system is new. We're getting there.
thank you for catching that.
You're welcome. Well, we're working the bugs out. It's the first time we've had this new system, so
Okay,
it's expected to have some little glitches now and then.
cast your vote.
Madam Mayor?
You're waiting on, oh.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
I'm not hitting it hard enough. Okay, item number 27 is the crossing cards that I had pulled. And just wanted to say that public safety has always been one of my top priorities, as I shared in the 2024 State of the City, making our children safe on their way to and from school. Protecting our kids, our crossing guards does that. and it's a critical role in keeping our kids safe and at our busy intersections. And with that in mind, I mentioned to our city manager that on Moneta and 223rd, as you cross the street going into Veterans Park, I don't want to say what I mentioned to him, but we need to do a traffic study. I think I mentioned it to our Public Works Director. I was standing there and I thought I was on a freeway. And I know my crossing guards, I'd like you to reach out to the crossing guard that handles that area over there, because those cars from the fire station down to the next signal, they're going about 60 miles an hour. Our guards have to go out there taking the kids across the street, okay? And when you go up Del Amo and going into Lakewood, there's a signal, 2 signals by the school. We just need to do a traffic study and come up with some recommendations. So Dr. Arlington, through the city manager, I know I had mentioned this to you.
Yes, Madam Mayor, when you did mention it to me, as I shared with you, we weren't aware. So now that we had a conversation with our traffic engineer, and that just got bumped up to one of his top priorities to start working on, to see what we can do immediately, something creative, and then a longer term plan to try to fix it permanently.
Please.
So he is actively working on that as we speak.
Okay, keep us informed because I was in panic mode. Okay? Yeah. And so could you give us a quick and dirty report on item number 27, the crossing guards? I want to thank staff for bringing this item to our attention. Thank you so much.
Hi, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Thank you for pulling this item. It is obviously something very important to public safety, and we're thrilled that we did go through the RFP process, and our existing crossing guard company did still exceed expectations with all the proposals that were received. So we will be renewing the contract with the existing crossing guard company. It does encompass 25 locations across our city, and that too was as a result of a traffic study that we did with the crossing guards as well. Happy to answer any questions.
No, we'll move staff's recommendation.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Under the
Did you? Oh, there you are,
IQ,
Jimmy.
yeah,
Yeah, I
IQ.
see you. Okay.
Under discussion. I also want to thank the staff, city manager and his entire staff for bringing this important item to the council meeting tonight. Certainly, public safety has always been my #1 priority. Security is so important. We can't do all the wonderful things. We can't be a city with a future unlimited without security, and we know that. So, the safety of our school children, many of you know I'm a public school teacher. The safety of these children is a top priority for us. It's really, really important. So some of the questions I have written down have already been answered by staff. Thank you to the city manager and Nora. But can you clarify the total cost of this contract over the next 3 years and how the funding, how we are funding it through our current budget? That's question number 1.
Sure. So yeah, we are funding it based on the proposal that was submitted from the RFP, and it is being allocated each year into our public safety budget.
I see. Okay, thank you. And you partially answered this question, but since school's already started for this school year, just to clarify, the current company is simply going to continue. There will be no gap.
No, there will not be any gap since we're continuing with the same company.
Good.
We were able to extend our current contract into this fiscal year, and yes, there will be some savings because of the way the fiscal year worked with the school year.
And the name of the company is All City Management, right? Is that
Services.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're continuing with them.
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
And that was after a thorough RFP process.
Right, as you mentioned, and that's why I said you would answer some of the questions, which is great when you do that report. I appreciate that. So my last question is, how will this contract help improve safety for our kids? How will it be better than it was last school year?
So moving forward, what we've required in this RFP is additional training, not only on just typical traffic laws and rules, but also crisis management and CPR. We want to make sure that our crossing guards are outfitted with the tools that they need in the event of an emergency.
Very good. Thank you, Nora, and to the city manager. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm complete with my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here no further comment. Let's move for approval of this item.
Just waiting the vote of Councilwoman and yourself, Madam Mayor.
I beg your pardon?
It's been moved in second. I'm just waiting on the votes from you and Councilwoman.
Oh, you're waiting on that.
Don't forget the vote.
Oh, yeah. No nails. Motion carries, Madam Mayor. It's unanimous.
Thank you. Item number 28. It's a very important item. I pulled this item to thank the city staff and the city manager for this project. I want to remind everyone that after emergencies like COVID and the Dominguez Channel, I promised at the State of the City that public safety would be one of my top priorities. The Emergency Operations Center upgrade will help us to respond. It's long overdue, and it will help us to respond faster. With these improvements, we're making sure Carson is prepared to face emergencies, protect our residents, and ensure quick response. My question to staff is, does this $369,000 contract cover everything needed? Because, you know, sometimes you guys get to ensure the center is fully updated and is ready to be used.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the question. And on behalf of the Public Safety Department, we do appreciate the support from City Council and especially yourself. For this particular contract, this is for just the labor of the installation of the EOC equipment. So similar to the new technology that you're seeing tonight with the new fancy screens and all that good stuff, this piece is just the labor piece. You all did approve during our last council meeting the equipment and the materials themselves. And up until now, that has been the only equipment that we've identified that we need to outfit that space. And more so, the goal here as well is to help support the response efforts for big events that the city will be hosting. Again, thanks to you all, so appreciate it.
Thank you. And I mentioned to our Director of Parks and Recreation, when we have these events at our parks, these major events, it's important for us to have first aid staff out there that know and that we're equipped to handle an emergency with everything that they need. It does us no good to come out and have a tent that says first aid and I have an emergency and I can't even get a Band-Aid. I'm being sarcastic, but I'd like you to revisit that for all of our special events to make sure that we are equipped, because we have a lot of activities going on in the city, and some of the young staff that I've seen manning these first aid stations booths, they're young, and I know we have a training with you can the American Red Cross can bring out someone that can really respond. I think that's very important because we have over 50 events, and all we need is one problem to set us on our wheels. So thank you very much. I did talk to our director, but I always like to put these in minutes, you know, because sometimes we forget. Okay. So thank you. Are there any, Councilman Deere?
Thank you. Yeah, the segue on what you're talking about. I noticed at the Fam Fest, there was an incident where a person needed some water. They went to the first aid station, there was no water. Now, you know, if you go into a restaurant in the state of California and you ask for a glass of water, by law, they have to give you a glass of water because a person may have to take medication. So I would suggest, as the mayor's talking about adding something to the first aid aspect of our activities, that water be available in case of an emergency at all of our first aid stations, at all of our public festivals and activities. That's what I would suggest, and the city manager can work on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hilton.
Not maybe so, since they're going up the first aid, maybe because we have a senior population as well. maybe we should have like a EMT out there. We never know what's going to happen. At one of our events, I've gone to city events in other cities, and I've seen an actual paramedic at the event. If someone collapses, that could be the difference between life and death. If we have to wait on an ambulance or anything like that, I don't know how much those cost. I don't know, on standby, but maybe we can create a partnership. I know McCormick is here in our community. The owner, he may be willing to volunteer, become on as a sponsor, have some of his people there. I've seen him at events before, but I think those are vitally important. If those things, just like if you go through certain restaurants, they have the defibrillators there. A defibrillator, my little brother is a pacemaker wearer, and he's only 34 years old. He got his pacemaker 10 years ago when he was 24 years old. He dropped dead. The difference of life and death was between getting the service that he need between the ambulance. So I think those things are important.
Thank you all for your comments. Yes, we can definitely arrange that. Fortunately, I'm sitting right next to the Director of Parks and Recreation amongst other areas, and so that's something that we can definitely collaborate on. I do know the city does have already contracts for first aid kits and AEDs through risk management, and so it'll be a tri-partnership, but yes, definitely.
We just want to make sure we're equipped in case of emergency, because I think I was at the Fam Fest and we were not equipped, panic mode. So please, whatever it takes, we just don't want an emergency in our parks that we said we were not able to handle. Thank you. Motion to approve. Been moved.
Second.
Councilman, do you queued up again? No. Oh, okay, no, you're all. It's been moved and properly second. I have to punch it.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 29 was pulled by Councilman Deere.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. This closed-circuit television system is really a great addition to our city, and I want to thank, again, the city manager and his staff for bringing this to us. It's really an important item. Keeping our parks and public spaces safe is really important to everyone in Carson. So I've got a few questions here. It's my understanding that, and let me know if I'm correct or not on this, that we need about $1.6 million additional funding for this amendment number 3. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Councilman Deere. That's correct. And that is actually to support and provide additional camera services as well as the intrusion system and access to various areas, primarily the community center, and then finishing up here at City Hall. And so I want to thank our Director of Public Safety, Nora Garcia, for doing a wonderful job from taking on the project and then continuing to ensure that the safety, as far as from a visual perspective as well as access, is provided for the safety of our employees here. And so in order to complete this transaction or this aspect, this third amendment is going to require that 1.5 million additional funding to be able to complete.
I have down 1.6,
Or, excuse me, 1.6, excuse me, yes.
So the second question you basically answered, and I was going to ask about, how we can explain to the public why we need to expend this amount of money, because, I'm very fiscally responsible and frugal on our taxpayers' money. It's not monopoly money, it's real money. So if you want to, maybe you explain a little further if you want to, or if you're complete, that's fine. But I'd like to know why the coverage wasn't identified in the earlier amendments.
Great question.
So I'll. You have gotten completely out of control. It's not acceptable. Could we have him escorted from the council chambers, please? You have no business on this dais. We're praying for you.
So,
Okay,
Councilman
so
Deere.
you, through the city, Madam Mayor, through the city manager to his staff, Nora, would you please continue the
Yes.
answer to the question?
Thank you for the question. Yes, so this is a phased project, and so those additional costs and locations of those cameras and access readers were not included in previous phases because they hadn't been identified. So it wasn't until the first two phases were complete that we were then able to determine that additional cameras and additional readers were needed in order to make the project complete. And again, I would also preface to say this likely won't be the last amendment because per the council's direction, we also want to look at mini parks, which also were not included in the original scope.
I see. Okay, that's very clear. A great answer. And the last question I have for the staff is, can you walk us through how the $150,000 that's mentioned as a credit from Johnson Controls will help reduce the costs and how it fits into the planned timeline for full implementation?
Sure, that's a great question. So the $150,000 was basically a contingency in the original contract. Fortunately, we didn't need to utilize it, and so now we are able to pass on that funding to this particular amendment.
I see. Okay, thank you. That
Thank you.
clarity is really important for the public, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. City Manager,
Thank
for
you.
having a great staff. I'm complete, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Hicks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to make sure, I'm glad to the staff that you actually heard me when I requested to bring in the mini parks because they were not part of the original scope of work, and that even though we have our mini parks, they're still utilized by our residents and making sure that they're safe as well, and we have them under the eyes of the same system. And that I think any amount of money that we spend is well spent for the safety of our residents here in the city of Carson. It just takes one person to get hurt, and that next thing you know, you have a bigger lawsuit. So I'm just glad that we're able to do this for our residents in the city of Carson, and I'm in support of the additional funding needed for this project.
Thank you, Councilman Hicks. I do want to clarify that this particular amendment doesn't include the mini parks. That's why I prefaced that this likely won't be the last amendment when he asked why weren't the additional funding needed identified in previous phases. It was because it wasn't until after the fact that through the wishes of the council and from the residents that we wanted to add the additional parks.
So these are actually, I guess, adding on the parks that were missing, and the pools?
Yes, this is additional cameras and readers for the existing system of the 12 parks, City Hall, Community Center, and the yard.
In the corporate yard?
Corporate yard, yes, sir.
So, to the city manager, the pools are not part of that?
They are.
They are part of
They
that?
are part of
Okay.
that.
All righty, thanks.
And this will give us additional coverage also in the parking lots, which weren't identified in that first phase.
And to Director Garcia's point, so with the new Tesla installation that's there, these cameras will actually be focused on the parking lot on the east wing of the community center. We were already having those installed, but they're going to be able to pick up the traffic that's in and out of there as well.
Okay. Any more questions or
One
comments?
more question, Madam Mayor.
Could you
so
start
how we-
using your cue up, Mr. Councilman Deere? Because I don't see you.
I thought I was, but
No,
the
you're
green
not.
lights,
It's not on my, showing up on my screen.
well, it didn't,
Uh-uh.
it showed up on mine. Okay, so the question is that how is the city staff and this closed circuit television working in coordination with our sheriff's department? Because if a crime is committed in any of our view areas of our CCTV, the sheriff needs to know about that right away. So is there a coordination now? Is it planned in the future? Can you explain maybe to the public how that might happen?
Right, I can address that if I may.
You have to ask that man right there if you.
Through the city
Yes,
manager.
please.
Through the
Go
city
ahead,
manager.
Director Garcia.
So our current acting captain, Lieutenant Aiello, does have access to the system. We're actually working on adding additional staff as well. And whenever there is an incident at any of the parks, myself and my team, as well as those others within city staff that have access to the surveillance camera, can easily export that footage. It's already been extremely helpful for certain incidences that have taken place.
Very good. That's really good to hear that, and I really appreciate the planning and the thought that goes into making this system work the most efficiently. Thank you. I'm complete, Madam Mayor.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Oh, I did? Okay.
Yeah, you pulled the item, so usually you make the motion. If you want to, it's up to you.
Okay, then I made the motion. MPT seconded. Please cast your vote.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I was distracted by this last outbreak. Madam City Attorney, to the city manager, I want to see if we can ban him from future meetings. I will not have anyone approach this dais. I haven't had this type of outbreak since someone else was elected. We had peaceful meetings, and I'm not going to tolerate it. We got armed sheriff here, okay? And with the tension that's going on throughout the world, I cannot have our staff intimidated. You have no business on this dais. I'd like you to see what we can do. I do not want to be threatened or feel for our, and my Mayor Pro Tem has to jump up. That is unheard of. This is the city of Carson. We're always in control here. I should not have, like he came to the dais disrespectful. Now he's coming up on the dais. Look at banning him from all future meetings here in the city of Carson. Take that nonsense somewhere else. And anyone else that comes here and does it. I shouldn't have to have, we got security. We can't even get come into City Hall now without being screened because of these people that come out and try to intimidate us. We will not be intimidated. My public safety manager, you are jumping up. Unheard of. Unheard of. My MPT jumping up. Unheard of. He's coming up on the dais. It was frightening. So immediately, not tomorrow, tonight, tomorrow morning, I'd like a recommendation.
Madam Mayor, I have a recommendation. In other city council meetings, I've been to many city council meetings in other cities, and the law enforcement officer would be standing right there, or right there, right next to the dais. That uniformed officer, I think, would be the presence needed to discourage anyone from doing something that they're not permitted to do. That's a suggestion. I've seen it in other city councils. The officer is uniformed and right there next to the dais. So that's one possibility as a solution.
Come up with a recommendation. We will not be forced with this again. You know, we just won't. I don't want him, prefer not to have him back in our city council chambers again. Okay, thank you. So now we can go on with agenda item number, yes, oh, I'm sorry. Jim, you already spoke.
Yeah, I'm going to speak on
Okay.
item 29. You said
Okay,
you're going to move on.
Councilwoman wants to
ready
speak.
to move on.
No, we're not ready just yet. Councilwoman.
Yes, I understand about other council meetings and that some security are up front. We shouldn't have it here in the city of Carson because we never really needed that. And when we do need that, it's really only the same number of people and the same group of associated people. I did mention earlier to the deputies, we did warn him, 4:15, I believe, Madam City Attorney, you can confirm that. It's simply disturbing the peace. It's a very simple, and it's kind of like a catch-all. He was warned, so if it does happen again, he doesn't need another warning. We can just book him. And as a citizen's arrest. I'm a police officer too, so I don't need to be a citizen's arrest. I can do it on a misdemeanor committed in my presence. So these deputies here, they have the authority as I do as well.
Well, less arresting.
Yes. So it could still happen even tonight. So let's look into that, Madam City Attorney. Thank you. And let's continue. And on the brighter side, let's have a good council meeting like we always do and end it on a happy note.
Before we do, call our lieutenant, acting captain. We've just made a citizen's arrest. Don't all sit there and look shocked. You got it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number, we just did item
29.
29. We're on item number
33.
33. This item is the Long Beach Public Transit. And I pulled this item because as your mayor, I'm committed to providing the community with transportation. I've heard from a number of residents about our transportation system. And we are in the process of getting our city ready for the 2028 Olympics. We will be the host city. We will be hosting 12 events. I don't have the whole list of them. But as you look at this report, I have a question to staff. I'd like you to explain to the council and the community why we need a 3-month extension for this contract and how it will benefit our residents. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our Director of Community Services, Mr. Whitaker, will give you a brief update and answer those questions that staff or council may have.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Currently, we have a contract that was in place. There is a window where we want to make sure that we do not have lapse in the services. We're actually going through negotiations with Long Beach Transit in regards to extending our contract. And so in the interim, we're trying to assure that we do not have a lapse in services for our residents here in the city of Carson. This 3-month extension will be extended to assist us in making that decision. We still have another meeting that's set up with Long Beach Transit in regards to our upcoming contract.
Okay, so it's going to be going out to bid. No?
Madam Mayor, if I may, Long Beach Transit is actually a quasi-governmental organization and does not require a bidding process. However, the contract terms can be negotiated between the city and the agency, which is what we're in the middle of right now. If for any reason those negotiations don't go as planned, we will return to council with alternative strategy, which may include a bidding process.
Yeah, because what they proposed was ludicrous. They thought we were asleep at the wheel.
Yes, Madam Mayor, they're going to come back, and then we're also having another alternative that we're looking into.
I would really like that.
Just as a price option.
My concern is that they even submitted the bid that they did. So evidently, had we not have eyes on these contracts, it would have been approved. So it was ridiculous. Okay. So we may consider going out to bid. Item no, he's going to do the extension. They're going to investigate. Okay, item number 43. Item number. Oh, let's vote on that one. Oh, you answered my questions. Okay. A motion to approve.
Move approval. Oh, second.
Madam Mayor, were you asking for a motion or were you making the motion?
Asking for a motion.
I'll make the motion, Madam Dr. Kalia Bradshaw.
Okay, seconded by MPT.
Thank you. Please cast your vote.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Item number 44. Oh, I missed it. Yes, 35. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To the city manager, just want to get a report.
Thank you, Councilmember Hicks. I'll allow our Director of Community Services, Parks Recreation, Director Michael Whitaker.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. based on the limited ability to perform extensive pest control work at city facilities, this has been an issue for the city of Carson for quite some time. And so I am glad that we did have some conversation in regards to the the volunteers and also the residents near Dominguez Park in regards to our gopher problem at that particular facility. And we have completed the RFP. We have chosen a vendor. The vendor that we currently have is Corky's Pest Control. Upon the approval of this particular item, some of the most common pests, rodents, ticks, mosquitoes, can also transfer diseases which can create health concerns for staff and residents. Equally important, a professional pest control technician, which we are looking for. We have park maintenance staff that handle this on a daily basis, but we do need some additional assistance in regards to the expertise of an individual company to come out and help us to reduce the amount of rodents, but also hopefully we can eradicate them over time. And so that's why we're bringing this today to discuss that. And as we talked about before, I just wanted to say that I want to thank the Dominguez Park community for being vocal and speaking out about this particular issue. It's an issue that we're dealing with in the entire city. It's not falling on deaf ears. Just to note, I actually lived a block away from Dominguez Park for quite some time, my first home. And so I am a resident, and we are making sure that we handle all the parks in the best way possible in regards to this particular issue.
Thank you for that. To the city manager, in looking at the proposal for Corky's, it's stated in the document, athletic fields monthly service treatment to control gophers and other related burrowing animals. In addition, on page 15 and 16 is section 3.2, gopher services, the initial assessment. I don't know where we are with the initial assessment. With that, there's 3.22, prevention measures and regular treatment. And based on whatever the findings are based on this treatment, from the initial assessment, we'll set up a treatment plan. My request is to put together an aggressive treatment plan to address the gopher holes. In addition, there needs to be a trailer. I may have to come back before this body to look at the fields, to have the fields actually dug out, refilled, resodded, put back at, making it where you don't have any more of the divots where you can trip in your ankles. So you may do the process of eradicating the gophers now, but we need to bring back an item just for that ball field, to be renovated, to get rid of all of the holes and everything else that's in the actual field itself. But thank you for having this on the agenda. It may be an item we need to go through our reserves to get some additional funds for, whatever that may be, but we need to get that ball field corrected immediately.
Thank you, Councilman Hicks. And so part of that, to your question, part of that is actually handled through the deferred maintenance. And so as soon as the lack of a better term, I don't want to say eradication because we hope that's what happens, but in those efforts to eliminate the gophers, once that process is completed, then the deferred maintenance will kick in to be able to go through, do the filling of holes, the resodding, fixing of landscaping, anti-siphon valves, sprinkler heads, and things of that nature, so that way the park can be back and useful the way that it needs to be, so that it can be utilized in its proper form. But that is part of the deferred maintenance. If we need to and find that deferred maintenance is not working out, or the director recommends a different approach, then we'll definitely bring that back forward for you all to handle. But as of right now, the deferred maintenance is what will kick in once the process is completed with the elimination of the gophers.
So once the gopher have been eliminated, understanding to the residents that when we do this ball field renovation, it's going to be closed down for a minute because it has to go through a process. It's not something that you do and you go right back on it the next day.
That's correct.
But I just wanted to make sure the residents know, because I want to make sure that happens for that ball field. Laser leveling on the diamonds is going to have to be done. You have to look at your mounds. There's a whole lot that goes into refurbishing and renovating an actual ball field, including the lights that needs to be done, because the lights need to be corrected as well, because many of them are burnt out and it's not really a safe environment to do any type of ball playing. You know, they're doing what they can at this point in time, but all of it needs to be corrected.
We'll look into those aspects, and of course, once the renovation project actually begins, what we'll do is notify the residents, advising them of the closure of the park while the renovation is happening, and along with the anticipated date of reopening.
And I would request that we do a meeting with the Park Association president, along with the residents, to let them know what's the plan of action is going to take place with that park, so they know what's going on, not just us here on the dais talking about it, but we take it to the people so they know what's going to take place at their park.
Absolutely. We'll have the director of community services work with that commission and let everyone know that those plans and project will be happening.
Thank you. With that, I approve motion for staff recommendation.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and properly second. Cast your vote.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Item, is that it for the consent? Item number 43 is 44, I'm sorry. It's a public special order today. Madam Clerk, was it properly posted?
No,
It's not a public hearing, Madam
It's
Mayor.
not a public hearing?
no, ma'am. It's just a discussion item.
Oh, well, it says special orders of the day. Okay. Item number 44. You have it listed under special orders.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 44 is to consider award of construction contract to PUB Construction Incorporation for project number 1610. That's for Foysia Park improvements. I know it's been a long time coming. The recommended action is for us to bring before you, Mayor and Council, an awarded construction contract to the lowest responsible bidder, which was PUB Construction, and that was for the amount of $12.7 million. And so with that, is there any questions that we can answer in regards to this long-awaited project?
Long-awaited. Could you talk about the funding? We have received grants for this project also, and talk about everything that we're going to be doing and when we're going to start construction and all that good stuff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'll allow our Assistant City Manager, Dr. Robert Lennox, to provide those updates for you.
Thank you, City Manager. Madam Mayor, as City Manager was mentioning, the funding sources for this particular project include $4.25 million from the Land Water Conservation Fund, which is a federal grant that actually is passed through the state of California, Office of Grants and Local Services, and it includes a $4.25 million match from the city. That commitment plus additional funding that was provided through recent bond revenues that the City Council approved a couple of meetings ago for the grand total that is on contract for approval this evening. The team is here to provide additional information regarding the amenities in the park.
I'd like that.
You would
I
like
think
that?
the
Okay.
residents need to hear that.
Yes, so while that's being queued up, in essence, we understand there was quite a thorough community outreach and engagement process with the communities around Foysia Park to talk about the various components. I believe Raymond Velasco, who's our operations manager, is here. He can run through each of those pieces while we're pulling it up.
Thank you. And while he's pulling it up, I would like the Volunteer Association over there to have this report, because I've been talking to some of the coaches and they call and say it's not happening. So to staff, the Volunteer Association, the coaches over there, the key players, the Samoan Federation, they should all have something in writing that they can hand out or discuss.
Mr. City Manager, if I may, I think it would also be good to do a presentation for the association as well.
Yes, indeed.
That would be a good thing, and that way they can get the information out to the public as well.
Councilwoman Rojas and I will have a town hall meeting at Foysia Park to go over these. Okay. Through the city manager, could you coordinate our calendar so we can do a town hall meeting? Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Don't have a presentation, just to want to brief you on the scope of the project. So staff's very excited to get this project going. It's going to be a big improvements to the park and a few more amenities for the park and for the community. So this park will involve about 650 square feet of a new stage. It's a Polynesian themed stage. As a tribute to the Forcia family, the stage will be located towards the back end of the park. I want to say towards about the northeast area of the park. The improvements will also involve picnic tables, barbecue areas covered with shade sails, an improved irrigation system that's really outdated and it's really outlived its lifetime. We will then also renovate the turf of the park. Yes, excellent. And so the stage will then be located towards, where's my, yeah, I'm sorry. Number one is where the stage is going to be with some artificial turf for the audience and some picnic and barbecue areas around area number 3. The diamonds is going to be improved in a way that the orientation is going to be slightly changed. Its orientation just slightly. Speaking about diamond number 8 because it's close proximity to the street, and we're going to be providing a higher fence to prevent and hopefully avoid foul balls from hitting the neighborhood. The turf, as I said, will be renovated, as well as the irrigation system that's been there for a long while. Other improvements involves a new playground. This area right here by the parking lot off of Catskill is going to be somewhat of a plaza with the Polynesian theme as well, so that it ties into the back, the stage towards the back of the park, so that both the entrance from Catskill as well as the entrance from Ravina would capture that theme. The parking lot towards Ravina definitely needs some improvements, so that will be improved as well. The parking lot off of Catskill is in good condition. Fortunately, it's concrete and it's in pretty solid condition. And then lastly, we're very excited as well as the marquee that's going to be improved to a digital format off of Catskill. It's going to be bigger and brighter and can be really seen from pretty far out. So we're very excited to deliver this product, this park to the community. If the project is approved today, we are hoping to get into pre-construction mode towards the end of the month, and hopefully break ground by mid-October, if all goes well.
Thank you. I don't see any improvements to the gym or the Fabella Chavez Boxing Center.
Yeah, the gym, this improvement is mostly the parkside improvements and does not involve the gym just yet.
Interior? Nothing inside the building, the kitchens and all that are outdated?
Not just yet.
No, we don't have any improvements inside the kitchen. We do have some improvements that are in the gym. We just finished with taking down the old scoreboards. We're putting the new scoreboards up. We are putting artwork on the wall. We're taking down the old, outdated artwork that we have on the walls as well. And we actually at all 4 of our gyms, but Forcia Park is on that list as well. So it's a project where we're doing smaller projects in terms of the small cosmetic work.
Well, my request is that you bring back an amendment because the park is going to be closed for renovation, right? And you have some work that needs to be completed inside the gym and everything. And so while we're renovating, let's not just put a little lipstick on it. Let's make it, when it opens back up, it has the wow factor. Because if you don't, we're going to have to go back in, do the kitchen, do the activity, and the restrooms need facelifts. So if we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Madam Mayor, if I can just add that part of the terms of accepting the grant from Land Water Conservation Fund was to only incorporate the improvements that came out of the community engagement. To your point, though, what we can do is pursue the additional improvements on a separate project expeditiously.
Yeah, I like that because it does no good because when you go into the restrooms, you look into the office, you look at the activity room, you go into the boxing center, it's tired, okay? And if the park is gonna be closed, we may as well put a fresh coat of lipstick on it throughout the park. My recommendation. Any comments?
Madam Mayor, I have a comment. We would probably have to do an RFP with another contractor, and this contractor could bid on it, of course, because otherwise it'll be in the category of a change order. You do not want to do a change order on such a high-cost product improvement because it would be very costly for the city, for the taxpayers. So doing the inside is a great idea. I agree with that. It's just a matter of we would have to approach it differently.
Well, I
City
think,
manager can
thank you.
outline that if you want details.
No, I think my assistant city manager had given me the answer. We cannot do it with this grant, but he will send it out in a separate package, and it all can be done with a different contractor. We're just saying, let's make it happen. I understand about this project. I just don't want it to slip through the cracks. So we're not talking about change orders. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about getting bids to get the project completed without interrupting this grant that we had to do a matching with, okay? Any more conversation on this?
Yes.
Could you queue up, please, Mr. Deere, Councilman Deere? Yes, Councilman.
Okay, thank you. Very good report, Mr. Velasco, and through the city manager. I again want to thank the staff for bringing this to us, Public Works staff included, and this is an important item. So it's clear that you put a lot of effort into this. This park improvement is way overdue, years and years overdue. I think the staff recognizes that, and the effort you put forward to ensure that these improvements come forward, it's certainly deserved by the community, and I think the staff really did a great job. So a few questions, and you partially answered some of the questions I wrote down for myself. But the first one is, what can the community expect during the construction process? And follow-up question, will the park remain accessible or parts of it accessible? And how can we ensure minimal disruption in the many programs that exist in this park today?
What I anticipate during construction is most of the parks can be delineated with fencing because of the grading that we have to do to renovate the irrigation and the turf itself. So there's gonna be a lot of activities, heavy equipment going through the park during the time of construction. A lot of demo happening in the very initial stage of the project. We are gonna try to keep the gym open during construction. I think we can delineate that with some fencing, at the same time providing safe route to the gym while we work on the entire side of the park.
Or will the parking lot or either one of the parking lots be available for the public? And will street parking be available, or will that be blocked off?
The street parking would definitely be available. I think the parking off of Catskill, the west side parking, would be available. We are planning to use the east side parking, which is Ravina, to be the staging area for the contractor to minimize the impacts on the public roads.
Right, because those parking spaces are precious.
Yeah.
In that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. How will the upgrades to the lighting and pathways enhance the safety for park goers, especially for families and children?
Good question. So we're upgrading the lighting throughout the parks, the safety lighting, as well as the ball field lights, more efficient LED lights, Musco lighting. We can then control it from the office or possibly mobile device or however device we can use it. So it's a little bit more high tech now with the new systems and new technology that we're implementing for the project.
So will the placement and design of the lighting be in coordination with our CCTV camera program? Have you worked together with the?
Yeah, we can coordinate that with Nora
Uh-huh.
for the safety of the park. Yes.
Great. Okay, next question. Can you explain the funding sources for this project and what monies we're using to fund the construction contract? I know you talked about that a little
Get some
bit.
assistance for Assistant City Manager.
Thank you, Raymond. Yes, Councilmember Deere, as I mentioned earlier, there's a $4.25 million grant from the Land Water Conservation Fund through OGALS at the state level. And then the city's match is another 4.25 plus the difference, which you see in this contract. So substantial investment by the city and city council in this park project.
I want to compliment the staffs for pursuing these grant funding methods. And a question related to what's going on tonight. We have a grant writer. Is that correct me if I'm wrong? Do we still have a grant writer contract with a
Yes, sir, we do. That's
and
correct.
Have they helped with this?
This particular one, they did not, but
others?
This was staff that actually went after this particular grant, so this is a tremendous work by them. And just to that point, Councilmember Deere, this has been a really massive project because the grants take a long time to get through and get awarded. But on top of that, the coordination between Public Works, Community Services has been, and then even Public Safety has been tremendous. And so just wanted to highlight and appreciate them for all the work. Mr. Raymond Velasco sort of jumping in, being the project manager lead on this. So it's, again, as you all know, it's been a long time coming, but the award for the grant was done by staff in-house. And so that's a tremendous effort as well. So from the administration all the way up through to either the project management of this has been phenomenal by our staff.
That's really great news. My wife and I own a house on Catskill. It's more than 1,000 feet away from the park, so it's not any conflict of interest, but it's really great for the neighborhood. The last question is...
and before you go on to the next one, I just want to say that the job that the staff does in regards to these grants is tremendous. It was completed by Mr. Tim Grierson, Superintendent of Recreation, and Christina Lutu, who is our admin analyst for the Recreation Division as well. They have done a yeoman's job in regards to attending the meetings, meeting with Los Angeles County, and continuing to keep pushing in regards to this particular grant.
That's great news. Thank you. What is the expected timeline for completing these improvements? And how do we have a plan in place right now for any unexpected delays or extra costs? Do we have a plan to handle that? Because, it's a big project, important project.
With the timeline, I can speak about the timeline. So if everything goes well, if we get this project to have a groundbreaking probably mid-October, if not late October, we have an estimated timeline of about 8 months of construction, which would then drop us to about June 2025.
Very good. Okay.
And the only delays to add to that would be just weather related. But
Yeah,
outside of that,
Not expecting any.
We're expecting that this should be ready to roll come June of next year.
Okay, so this is kind of.
After baseball season.
Yeah. You're not expecting any unexpected delays, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
I just get a little lightheartedness there in this council meeting. Okay, thank you. I'm complete with my questions, and again, accolades and applaud to the staff.
Councilwoman, you want to make a motion?
Yes, I want to thank staff for taking care of that and the hard work, and again, getting everything done. We've had a couple of town hall meetings at FOSIA, and it's always, the last one we had, it was packed. We had to bring out more chairs because the people in the community do want to see these upgrades. So
Thank you very much for all your hard work. So I'd
Very
like
well.
to make a motion.
Second.
Item 2024-0710, and this is to award a construction contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, PUB Construction Incorporated, for project number 1610, Facia Park in District 4. Thank you very much. Improvements in the amount not to exceed $12,757,063.46. 40. See, I can't even read it. It's got too many numbers there. Thank you very much. We authorize the mayor to execute a construction contract with Pub Construction Incorporated following the approval as to form by the city attorney.
Second.
Been
Thank
moved
you
and
very
properly
much.
second. We've had enough discussion on it. Please cast your vote.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
All
night.
Quick question. Are we going to have any renderings other than this when we have the town hall? Is there? Is this it?
Yeah, we can definitely come back and show some renderings thus far that
We
have.
definitely like it at the town hall meeting and to be brought
Oh,
back.
yeah, great idea. We
Okay.
can definitely do that.
If you could join us,
Sure.
that would be good.
Please.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah, so we just little rendering, you know, we like to see pictures. Thank you so much. Okay. Item number 45, consideration of all, well, let's skip that one. Bring it back next time. Item number 45, I'll bring it back for discussion at a later date, at the next meeting. Memorial adjournments. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. These are the names that I received: Clifford Cannon, Howard Frankie Beverly, Toriano Tito Jackson, Benjamin Rodriguez.
Madam,
Who's queued up first? Councilman Hicks.
can we add James Earl Jones?
What about Tito? Okay, Dr. Jawan Hilton.
Anybody else want to add somebody? I want to add Cleveland Bean. Bean. All right, let's bow our heads. Father.
Just a second.
Oh.
Bevan Thomas, Waste Resources, lost both his brothers within 48 hours. I do not have their names, but I will get their names to you. He got a call that his brother in Jamaica passed. In less than 48 hours, he got a call that his other brother had passed. So we definitely want to keep him in our prayers. He's our waste hauler. He's the district director for Carson. I'll get you his names later, Madam MPT.
Let's bow our heads, Father.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question for the city clerk. You mentioned Benjamin Rodriguez, right? I thought you'd said a different last name. Benjamin, you said. Benjamin Rodriguez, is that what you listed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just for clarification, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bow our heads.
Can I ask KW to pitch hit?
KW.
Let us pray. Thank you, Father, for another day, for another opportunity. We pray your blessings over all the bereaved families, oh God. We pray, God, that you cover them, keep them, protect them. Continue to place your arm of protection around them as they go through their various situations. We just thank you for all that you're doing. Bless the city of Carson. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All communications. Any requests to add any agenda items? All communications, council members.
Madam Mayor?
Yes. Did you queue up Mr. Deere? We want to.
I have queued up.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so just to the public, we have a new audiovisual system. I call it AV system because that's an old terminology for it. But it's a system to help the public with our transparency and accountability, which is sorely needed in the city of Carson, of course. But I just want people to know that we're working out. It's the first council meeting with this system, and so there were a few glitches that was to be expected. But I really want to applaud the staff for bringing this forward. We had the money to do it, so we brought forward a good system that should be user-friendly for the public, and that's what it should be all about. And having said that, good night, and
Not
thanks
good
for
night
singing
yet.
happy birthday to me.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday again.
Thank you.
Councilwoman. It's you.
I'm on. Thank you. So I just wanted to remind everybody the Filipino American History Month is coming up. Yes, October 12th. It'll be at Carson Community Center. And this year, we have two things that are added, which will be added for the first time. We are having an adobo cook-off. And this is brought to you by the Apple the App Foundation. For those of you who don't know, Apple the App is not cooking. Apple the App is one of the main members of the Black Eyed Peas. They will be here. They will be judges. And they are looking for the best chicken adobo in the city of Carson. And so there is a flyer. There's a barcode. If you go into it, it'll give you the rules. What we're looking for is Carson residents with a business license or with a business license in the city of Carson. So you don't necessarily have to be living in the city of Carson, but your business is in the city of Carson. So we are encouraging all the Filipino restaurants and non-Filipinos, if they want to take a jab at it, for the best chicken adobo. And so the sign up is online. We're going to do a prelim, a blind taste test, and then the top 4 will do a live cook-off on Filipino American History Month. We're going to give them an hour to make the best chicken adobo. And we're going to have, again, Apple the App Foundation will be here. We have a comedian, Rex Navarrete, is going to also be hosting that. In addition to that, we have the car show. Again, part of the Apple the App Foundation. They are going to display their EV vehicles that are here, as well as EV vehicles that they're planning on presenting in the Philippines. This event is produced none other than Ted Benito, who is the president of the Apple the App Foundation, and very proud to have him. Philippine Independence Day had about 13,000 plus. It was the largest crowd in the history of the City of Carson events, is what I hear. So very proud. We want everyone to be a part of that. Please sign up for the adobo cook-off. Come out, Filipino American History Month, October 12th, right here in Carson. Thank you. Mabuhay.
Mabuhay. Thank you, Councilman Hicks.
Thank you. I just want to make a couple of announcements. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 18th, 6:30 p.m. at Callis Park will be my town hall meeting at 6:30, 1000 East 220th Street in the city of Carson, Callis Park. Town hall meeting, 6:30 at Callis Park. In addition, on the 20th, which will be on Friday, doing a food giveaway at Mills Park, September 20th from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. Come out to Mills Park to get your free food. Carson residents are preferred, but we will not throw anybody away if you come, if you're not, but we want you to be Carson residents to come out to get your food on the 20th of September at Mills Park. I just want to do kudos for our Country Western, our White Linen, Prostate Cancer Heroes Day, to the staff, to the volunteers, to all who came out and worked, because if just naming the Country Western, the White Linen, the Heroes Day, each one of those take a lot of staff members and a lot of staff time, and I just want to state to the staff, thanks for what you do. Thanks for what you provide to the community, and that, again, we couldn't do this without our volunteers who help out as well. So to everyone, thank you for all these events in the city of Carson, and get ready for some more.
We ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet.
Oh, Councilman Deere.
Yeah, thank you. I also want to announce I'm putting on a town hall meeting as well. It's going to be Wednesday, September 25th at 6:30 p.m. at Veterans Park. Of course, that is 22400 Moneta Avenue at the intersection of 223rd Street. The public is invited. We're going to come and discuss city updates, concerns in our community, and other issues. Invited guests are from the Sheriff's Department, Public Safety, Public Works, Parks and Rec, and more. So if you have you need any information, you can call City Hall. You can call this number 310-952-1706. Again, area code 310-952-1706. There's a town hall meeting. I'll repeat, on Wednesday, September 25, 6:30 p.m. at Veterans Park. Thank you.
Learning this system. I've knocked MPT out the loop, but I'm doing good. Am I hanging in there? MPT.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just want to announce that me and the mayor are having a town hall meeting on October 3rd at Stevenson Park at 6:30 p.m. And then as a sign of gratitude for the volunteers and the employees, next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to be providing dinner for them who work for the Fam Fest, just for the employees and those who volunteered for the Fam Fest, just to say thank you. I appreciate them for working so hard for the Fam Fest. And I know there are employees, we say thank you by the paycheck, but I want to say thank you in another way as well. So if you RSVP'd, I'll see you then.
I'm RSVPing.
You're good, Mayor.
Oh, thank you. Again, they've said it, kudos to the staff. We're not done yet. The Jazz Festival is coming up, and I'm having a little heartburn here. Is that park going to be ready? I'm having a little heartburn. It's going to be ready. And if it's not ready, then what we going to do? Oh. Well, the
Madam
Jazz-
Mayor, it will be ready.
Okay. My Public Works Director?
It will be ready.
Okay, my City Manager? Well, I'm good. And so thank you. That was my, I had something else to say too, and I forgot. Okay, Councilwoman. Okay, we want to complete you guys' thoughts on your first round. We're not going to be going back and forth, okay? We're testing
Everybody
everything.
keeps talking about all the events that's coming up. So I talked about Philam History Month. There's also Larry Itliong, and I just want everyone to know that for the first time they had a Larry the Musical, and they will be coming out here to Carson during our Larry Itliong Day. So that's going to be a treat for everyone. First ever Larry the Musical will be here in Carson, and that is October 25th. Excited.
Where?
So lots of exciting things.
Where's it
Okay,
gonna
I'm
be?
done. No more events.
You guys got this? Write your notes down for the next meeting, okay? I'm tired. So, staff, any comments? Staff, thank you for a job well done. It's so nice seeing you guys sitting here. I kind of like this. And thank you to our, we're late. Oh, yeah, we have to get out of here. We have 9:30 meeting today. So thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned. You have what?